the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Alrighty.
This is the Big O Show.
Welcome aboard, boys and girls. Time to have some fun on the show. We are coming to you live. Beautiful VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road. We'll be out here for a couple of hours having some fun. You can come on by and say hi. We would love to see you out here. So if you got a little time, come on out here and join us. See what I got. Yeah.
What do you have, man?
I'm trying to get my power cord. So anyway.
Dude, here I am thinking you're pulling out some new mask or
No. I've got
new bracelet, some rock ticket.
No new mask. New shirt. I got a new shirt.
You got a new shirt?
Yeah, I got a new shirt. This shirt here, but that's about it. Because, the world is yours. That's what they say. The world is yours, baby. Little Tony. Anyway, welcome aboard.
With Pan American Bank, by the way.
Yes, exactly. Pan American Bank. Flight Pelican. Anyway, so you all hope you all are doing well. We are out here, VSS 12397 Pembroke Road. Come on by and say hi. We'll be out here for a couple of hours having some fun. We'll take your questions, your comments, all kinds of good stuff. Lots of things to talk about. Obviously, yesterday we have to start off with the loss to Oak State. Yesterday, they ended up losing to a guy with a mullet. Now, look, I expected them to lose, and I expected the game that I saw early on when it was 21-0. I'm sitting there going, okay, well, this is kind of what I expected. I didn't really have a lot of hope for this game. I will give the kids some credit that they fought, man. They came back after, King goes down. They show a lot of heart. And N'Kosi Perry actually played the best football he's ever played in a uniform. And if those guys don't drop passes, you might end up winning that game.
Yep,
when it's
that's it. Drop passes.
When it's all said and done. And so to me, this is where, it's depressing, because I'm not into moral victories. This is a college football program that's way past that. This is a college football program that ended the season last year losing to FIU, losing to Duke, and losing to Louisiana Tech by a combined score of 71-41. This is a university in its second year under Manny Diaz. Well, their three biggest games. They lost to Clemson 42-17. They lost to UNC 62-26. And they lost to Oak State 37-34. They lost those games by a combined 141-77. Okay? So we're talking about a program that is middling. I give the kids credit for the fight last night, but it does nothing for me. It sells me nothing. It sells me that Manny Diaz is not suited to be a head coach. And it's just, to me, and look, he's not going anywhere for a couple of years. Okay, they're stuck with Manny for at least 2 more years. They don't have the money to get rid of him. And after a COVID year now where you didn't have any butts in seats, you made a lot less money this year that you needed that money not just for your football program, but you needed it for several athletic programs to also support. And the U couldn't come up with that money. So there's no way there's any buyouts or any of that craziness that any of you thinking about, and listen, I'm not even saying to fire him yet, okay? But I have no hope for the guy. I really don't. Probably by next year, I'll just want to get rid of him already if there's another one of these seasons. And they still financially will not be able to get to it, But we have to start admitting to ourselves that we were wrong about this guy. Because I wanted him. A lot of you out there wanted Manny to be your coach. I mean, we were all pumped up. What he did on defense, his personality, all of that. He sold us. And unfortunately, what he sold us is not something I want to buy anymore. And when I listen to him, I was talking about this today on Onside Radio. When I listen to him, I hear the Peanuts teacher. Wah, 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 wah. That's what I hear from Manny Diaz. I don't hear anything else. I actually can't even listen to what he's actually saying because it's gibberish to me at this point. He was talking at the end of the press conference last night that, we've got to get to that next level. And, dude, there's several levels away. Okay? Because if you're not at the level of Oak State or UNC, what are we talking about to get to Clemson, Alabama, and Ohio State? That's several levels up. And so to me, Manny is proving that he does not belong in this job. And at this point in time, I have to say that I'm dead wrong about this. I don't know where they go now. Now it's a matter, I don't really have a lot of hope for this team at all anymore. It's just one of those things that I can't, it's hard for me to feel good about this situation. And one of the things that I trip out on with a lot of you out there is that you think Blake Baker is the guy, right? That, Julius 305, Blake Baker is the reason my fantasy football team sucks. And so Julius is blaming Blake Baker for his fantasy team. We got to blame Blake Baker for everything. And I love that Julius put that up because that was kind of a theme last night I had on social media. I blame Blake Baker for the new coronavirus strain. I blame Blake Baker for not getting more than $600 in our government checks. The 2,000. It's all Blake Baker's fault.
He influenced Mitch McConnell.
Everything is Blake Baker's fault, and it really isn't. It just isn't. It's a lazy thing that people are saying because it's the easy thing to say. Right? And I've talked about this now in the last 24 hours a couple times. It's not Blake Baker's fault that they have no linebackers. It's not Blake Baker's fault that Mike Rump sucks at putting together a secondary. It's not Blake Baker's fault that his best defensive end opted out at the beginning of the season. It's not Blake Baker's fault that his second and third best defensive ends decided not to play in the bowl game. But yet we want to blame everything on Blake Baker when he's running Manny Diaz's defense. Do you not think Andy Reid goes over to Eric Bieniemy and says, now let's run this instead? In this situation, I like this a little bit more. And you think Eric Bieniemy doesn't change it for what Andy wants? Hell yeah. Do you know who still coaches the defensive backs in Alabama? Nick Saban. He's got a defensive coordinator. Do you think that defensive coordinator does everything on his own? You think Nick Saban doesn't have a thing to say or two or three or 10? Come on, man. All of a sudden, I'm not a newborn, dude. I did not just come out of the womb. I'm not that stupid, that young, that naive. So let me ask you all out there, the lazy people that want to blame everything on Blake Baker. Are you blaming Rhett Lashley for the 6 drops? Because those are his receivers, right? Even though he didn't recruit them, and I wouldn't blame Rhett Lashley, like I'm not blaming Blake Baker for certain things, but then don't we do the same thing both ways? If we're going to blame Blake Baker for everything that happens on the defense, well, then I've got to blame Rhett Lashley for N'Kosi Perry's fumble, for the hold by the guard on a terrific play that was called back. Hell, wasn't it a touchdown? Might have been a touchdown, right? Yeah. So the guard calls back a touchdown, which they end up settling for a field goal, right? So you gave up 4 points there. What'd you lose, by 3? Okay? The 6 drops yesterday. Do we blame them all on Rhett Lashley too? I'm wondering. Just help me out here. Because it's like we don't do it equally. And it's the team that is not prepared week in and week out. It's the team that's not prepared for a bowl game, and it's the head coach. So the guy that deserves all the heat is not Blake Baker. It's not Rhett Lashley. It's Manny Diaz. Manny Diaz is the guy that needs to be called out for what's gone on for 2 years. When you lose to FIU, you need to be called out. When you get your ass kicked by North Carolina, you need to be thoroughly ripped. Okay? That's just the way it is. And last night, I'm not into moral victories. You're supposed to win that game. It's not be competitive. Oh, we came up short against the mullet man. No, man. I'm not doing that. That's not satisfactory for me. Why? Because you opened up the game 21-0. It was disgraceful. At that point, all of us thought the game was over. I'm sure a lot of you even turned off the damn game. I got a couple of buddies of mine that told me yesterday, I turned it off at 21-0. I went to watch the Heat, and I go, well, what'd you get out of that? This was a game at least. The Heat
went from bad to worse.
Yes, dude. The Heat was never a game last night. Even the UM basketball game went down to the last second when Isaiah Wong missed a three-pointer.
Nice comeback, 17 points down, right?
Yeah, yeah. But that's a real coach. You know,
You know what?
Jim Larinaga is just a badass.
I wish we could get a football player at that level.
A football coach at that level, you mean?
I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Football coach we need that's equal
head coach, by the way,
yes,
that's specified.
Yes. A football head coach that's equivalent to what Larinaga is as a coach. I mean, it's just it's embarrassing. And I know it's frustrating because this has been going on for 15 plus years now, that this is just a middling program. You know, and I've said this throughout the season. UM is no longer a must-see event. It's not an event anymore. Hasn't been an event for years now. You know, it's not something that it's not. I got to be honest. I watch it because I love them and I want them to win and all that. But I'm not excited to watch a UM game anymore because all I ever am is terrified of what headache am I going to deal with next when it comes to the University of Miami. Seriously, that's what. Like, what disaster is going to happen today? What am I going to be disappointed about? It's kind of like what the Dolphins used to be, the same thing. I love the Dolphins to death, man. I want them to win. But, 20 years prior to Chris Greer and Brian Flores, I was watching a Dolphin game waiting for the next disaster, waiting for the next controversy, waiting for the next stupid transaction, bad trade, terrible signing, bad coach, whatever. That's all. And the University of Miami football program is exactly the same way I have felt for the Dolphins for 20 years prior to Chris Greer. Exactly the same way. I have no confidence. I never feel comfortable watching that game. Every time I watch a UM game, I'm expecting, I prepare for the worst.
No, and even when things are going good,
yeah,
you know that the bottom's going to fall. You're 10-0. You're 10-0, and you end up 0-3.
Right. Exactly. Right. That's exactly it.
They set you up for the fall.
And it's just and then I have that coach after the games spinning everything and trying to make everything into this incredible positive and all that stuff. And I just lose respect for Manny every time I see him out there. And so I'm at a point now where it's like he's what he came from, a politician. You know?
Wow, that's a serious correlation.
I'm just saying, he's the son of a politician, and dude, that's what I see up on the podium. Wonk, 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 wonk. Because really, I mean, you hear politicians and they're making all these promises, and you're all sitting there going, "Yeah, sure, dude. Yeah, wonk, 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 wonk."
There's no solace in the fact that Derek King does go down. We all know how important he is to the offense, and the fact that we did come back, and maybe if Derek would have been healthy, considering what transpired, we might have won the game. You can't.
Well, no. If they don't hang on to Jacory's passes, how are they going to hang on to King's?
You know what, man?
It wasn't.
It comes down to those drop passes.
Jacory played well enough to win that game.
Yes, he looked the best we've seen him look.
No, that was the best football he's ever played.
Yes.
I tweeted out, I'm shockingly surprised with N'Kosi Perry tonight. Because that's what I was. I was shockingly surprised.
It was 5, right?
I loved it. 6 drops.
6 drops.
I believe it's 5 by the receivers, 1 by the tight end. I believe that's what it was. I think. But either way, whatever, bro. 5, 6 drops, that's way too many. It's just, and that's the thing about this team. You can blame all you want on defense, but they made a bunch of mistakes on offense. A bunch. The defense actually, after the 21 points, they kind of limited Oak State to everything else.
Considering what you
they
didn't have,
allowed the offense to get back in, and they should have won the damn game.
Considering the guys you were missing, man, they did wake up. That defense played, man.
Yeah. And Toast in the morning, he's on 6 to 8 over at Onside with us, and he made a point that I rode with him on this point. He goes, I'm not giving any of the coaches credit last night. I think those kids came back on their own. That they saw what happened to King, and they just got emotionally jacked up, and they started making plays. And I agree with him on that. I think it was a bunch of pissed off kids because they love King. And I think they wanted to, they didn't want to go out that way, and they started playing hard. And it was,
well, he's there for them. He said he's coming back, right?
And it was beautiful to see King back there on his crutches, and he's cheering on Nkosi and everybody else. And he's such a good kid. But it's interesting that what happened last night is exactly what I've been talking about since he made the decision. And I told you, did he make the right decision for himself? I know he made the right decision for me and for you and for the coaches and for his teammates. But did he make a right decision for himself? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Because if he would have stayed healthy last night, he should have gone into the draft and get the hell out. Because this is a program going nowhere. So you're not going anywhere next year to come play for what? What are you playing for? You can't even win the Coastal. Okay? All right? You can't even win the Coastal. So what the hell, man? Just take it. You're not winning the ACC. You're not winning national title. Get the hell out. Now, he's got no choice. He was going to come back anyway, but now he's got no choice. He can't change his mind. Now he's got to come back for the knee injury. And guess what now for Mr. King? He'll never play again for the University of Miami. Never. Because you will start Nkosi Perry next year. He's a running quarterback, King. So it's not like a regular quarterback that, 8 months, 9 months, hey, we'll put him out there. No, a running quarterback's going to take hits. He's going to need to be able to move all kinds of ways. North, south, laterally, you name it. He's got to be able to cut. So now he's going to need a little bit more time to heal than a normal quarterback because he's not a normal quarterback.
He needs his wheels. Without his wheels,
by the time he's ready, it's late October, November. By that time, Nkosi Perry, if he stays without transferring, is probably your starter. Van Dyke will be the backup. Midway through the season, if those guys aren't impressing, they're going to go with Jake Garcia. And then, what do you do? Because King's not your future. So what do? Play him for a game or two? You're not going to do that. So he's actually going to end up rehabbing to just go to the draft next year. And guess what? He'll probably end up in the CFL if it's still open. Because now he's an athlete coming off a year with a knee injury, and he wasn't a great quarterback in the first place for the NFL. So he won't even get drafted next year at this point. Okay? So that's how bad it is. This kid does not deserve this, dude. His dad died. I think it was a heart attack. His mom got cancer. Luckily, she was able to get the treatments, and she's cancer-free now, and let's hope it stays that way. Now this kid suffers a knee injury. I mean, good Lord, can we give the kid a break? I mean, it's too much. It's too much for anybody. Give the young man a break. But look where the position that he's in now, that I bet you he probably doesn't even play next year. Because the U is going to be stuck in a rock and a hard place that they've got to plan for next season. And Jake Garcia is going to join the program late, so he's not going to be in the race early on for quarterback. He will not be ready. You're not throwing Jake Garcia in front of Alabama in week 1. You got to throw Nkosi Perry in there because he's the most experienced one, and the last bit of film he has is actually pretty damn good. Now, if Nkosi transfers, then it's Tyler Van Dyke. And do you go to the transfer portal? Do you try to go find somebody to help you out? It's just, wow. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. And De'Aaron King does not deserve this, dude. He does not deserve this. I feel terrible for that young man. I really do. Because he's just put in an impossible position. And talk about you think you've had a tough time over the last year or two? Think about De'Aaron King, dude.
You lose your dad in February.
Yeah, you lose your dad to a heart attack. Your mom gets cancer and has got to recover, and now you blow a knee. That's one dude. I hope he becomes a Hall of Famer in the NFL at quarterback. I hope I'm wrong, and he's the first 5'9" quarterback that becomes like not just plays in the league. I hope he tears it all up. You know, it just wow.
They were saying
terrible.
They were saying last night during the game that the kid loves being in college, like the equivalent to what Peyton Manning was and like Tebow.
Right.
They love the environment.
Yeah. And in the end, this is probably going to be the pinnacle of his career. And now he's not ever going to experience that pinnacle. The pinnacle was this year here, this COVID-filled year.
Here, could you actually, because of the injury, just take the whole year off and it ends up being the following year? If he likes it that much.
Get a red, I don't know.
And the kid could go for a master's degree.
But he's a senior, and he's coming back because of the COVID rule.
Right.
So I don't know if they're also going to give him a red shirt on top of that.
Because of the injury, I would have
But it happened in the bowl game at the end of the year. You played your whole year. You didn't lose out on the year.
No, but the COVID,
COVID,
you get an automatic.
Well, I see what you're saying.
Next year, there's the injury.
All of next year,
and there's the injury. I mean, if a kid likes, go for a master's degree.
Yeah, but what?
You could be the quarterback in 22.
No, you can't, because Alex Garcia's here. Your highest recruit. He starts towards the end of next year.
So is De'Aaron King going to transfer from us?
Well, no, I don't even know if he can. I don't know how the rule works. If you can transfer on a COVID year. And he's transferring because he doesn't have a job, not because the coach left or anything.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about that. And who's going to take him off of a knee injury now? Because
when your major component is your wheels and your wheel goes down,
and that's why I was saying that he really did not make the right decision to stay anyway. This example here was a reason why he should not be coming back in 2021 to the Canes, but now he has no choice. John Rouse is in the house as we do a little roll call. Omar Lopez is in. Julius 305. NorCal in. Jay Walsh says rumors that Gailey won't be back. They want Tua's offensive coordinator from Bama. They talk a lot of stuff. I'm gonna go with Gailey being back. Did you hear the breaking news? The guy on the Levitard show who's supposed to be Dan's father is actually I know what you're saying. Well, that's a joke, obviously, right? I did not take that serious. Let's see, what else do we have? Blake Baker's the reason. That's right, Julius. I read that one already. Your fantasy team is not good. Happy New Year to Big O and Bill and all my Fins fam out there. Can't wait for 2020 to be over. Let's go, Fins. Thank the Lord. But 2021, if we're not smart, we'll make it another hell for us. I'm telling you.
It's a great commercial. Have you seen the one where the devil and 2020 hook up?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Chase one says, what's up with Ken Dorsey? Yeah, Chase, you need to listen to yesterday's show. That's in there. E2 Cold 22, Buffalo Bills, Buffalo Dip, Buffalo Wild Wings, don't matter. Fins by a touchdown. Fins up. I like it. Richard McLean, Big O, if Devontae Parker is 80%, is not better than Mac. Oh, no, Devontae Parker at 60% is better than Mac Hollins. Okay. Let's see. Dennis says, hell yeah, I want some payback coming to the Bills. Go Dolphins, I'm with you. Big O and defensive Manny, brother. He can't be out there coaching and catching passes. That receiver core has to be the worst in UM history. But, yes, there's many things Manny needs to improve in. Miami Kid Jay, look at that defense. Manny was the defensive coordinator and now the head coach over the years. It was his job to bring in the linebackers that are there, the defensive backs, the D-line, all of that. That's all you need to know. okay? And the team is never prepared. Offensively, defensively, they are never prepared. That's all on Manny. You know what's the other thing that I think is happening with Manny Diaz in this town? Guess what's happening? Cuban on Cuban crime. A bunch of you are a bunch of wussies. Because you're Cuban, you won't pick on Manny. Okay? That's why none of you have the balls to do my job. Because I'm Cuban, and I don't care. I call it like I see it. I don't care if the person's tall or short, Hispanic, black, Asian, Jamaican, whatever it is. We're going to call it like we see it. There's a bunch of you out there that you're afraid of Cuban on Cuban crime. That's what it is. And you're not willing to admit that Manny Diaz sucks. That's all. You're not willing. You think it's like a hit on your own people. I get it. We all want to see our own succeed. I understand all of that. But it's got to get to a point where you got to call it like you see it, and is somebody doing the job or they're not? Okay? So when Al Golden's not doing the job, we're slamming him. And when Randy Shannon's not doing the job, we're slamming him, right? And when Mark Rick is out of gas completely and he's dragging that can all over the place empty, we're slamming him, right? Well, we got to do the same thing to Manny. We need to be objective here on all of this, okay? Stop thinking about the Cuban stuff, because I think there's a bunch of you out there están apencado completamente. You got that? So there's some of you out there that
translates because there's some gringos.
One
sitting next to you and a few out there.
It means you're punking out, is what it means.
Okay. Thank you. No, and you know what? You're 100%.
No, I know
correct.
I'm 1,000% right. I know I'm 1,000% right. So a bunch of you out there, you got to stop with that, man. You got to stop with that. It's either you're doing the job or you're not doing the job. That's it, man. I don't care the nationality or the sexuality of the person. Don't care if you're a man or a woman. Don't care what country you come from. Don't care what color you are. Can you do the job? Period. That's it. We're going to measure Kim Eng with the Marlins on results. We're not going to measure her because she's a female in baseball. No. She's overqualified for that job. She's proven it over and over again. Now she has to get the job done. That's what she's got to be measured on. Okay? Manny got his opportunity. He's failing badly in his opportunity. Some of you out there, you got to be a little bit more honest with yourselves about what's going on. Big O, dímelo. Aquí disfrutando el mejor show del país. Desde Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Did you hear Phil Simms and Son talking about Tua? No, I did not. See if you can find the audio on Phil Simms and Son talking about Tua. See what comes up there. Jay Walsh says, I'm sick and tired of Brittle, Weak, Parker, and Williams. Grant can't catch. He's out. Well, I'll tell you what, Parker will probably make it at least one more year on his contract, and then he'll be gone. Williams is too young to give up on. You got to give him a chance to come back, and he's shown you enough. But Parker is not on an expensive deal. So until you have a rookie come in to learn the ropes and take over, then you can let go of Parker. But I think you'll keep Parker at least for one more afternoon. Rosendo says, good afternoon, Big O and Mr. Preston. Hope everybody's doing good on this last Wednesday of 2020. Thank you. Let's see. Adam Gase to Alabama, Big O. Steve's, yeah, I already, Adam Gase to New England is what they had. All kinds of rumors, bro. We'll see what develops, and then we'll talk about it. Jay Walsh says, Chambers was a great wide receiver, but really a great number 2. Never thought he was a 1. I agree, 1,000%. I love Chris, and he was a number 2. For me, the game was good, but it was marred by horrible officiating. Do you agree? No, I don't think that the officiating decided the game at all, my brother. I think it was the U making all kinds of mistakes and starting off slow and digging themselves in a 21-0 hole. I'm not the guy that I don't lay the blame on It has to be the last call of the game, and that did he get it right or wrong, and did he screw a team over? That's kind of what it has to be. But you had a whole game to catch balls and not make penalties and play better defense and all that to win that game.
I understand what he's saying, though.
Yeah, but
Look, Brevin Jordan, I mean, he made the one-handed catch, and the ref is standing right there looking at it.
the out of bounds.
You have the good angle, man. What are you doing?
The kid
Yes.
the kid that stepped out of bounds.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
dude, exactly. I'm going to say this. It looked like the calls were going for them and going against it. It was like too one-sided.
But not enough to change the game. Not enough to change the game.
If we catch those passes, like you said,
That's it,
That's
man.
it. That's the difference of the game.
Take care of your own business and not point fingers and make excuses for your shortcomings. The Canes are what they are.
You said that yesterday.
They're a middling program, and they get what they deserve. That's all. Go out there and the Canes used to get more calls when they were good. The Canes they used to call more penalties on them when they were awesome, but they were awesome. So they would overcome the penalties. They were that much better than everybody else. Alabama can make all kinds of mistakes and still beat you. Clemson can make all kinds of mistakes and still beat you. And I'm talking mistakes, not just dropping passes, not just bad decisions by the coaches, but also penalties. You can overcome all those things when you're really good, but when you're really mediocre, then all of those things come into play, and then you start using them as a crutch. Oh, man, go out there and take care of business. Catch those 6 passes, and you win by 10. Okay? That's what it is. Using that pointing fingers for a ref, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. Rouse says, as a big Dolphins fan that I am, I don't give them much of a chance in the playoffs. If we make it to beat Buffalo up there, maybe we beat them this Sunday, but playoffs are a different, no blind ass. No, I'm with you, John, but you know what? The Dolphins making the playoffs alone is like winning the Super Bowl. Because in a second year of a complete teardown, you went from 5 wins to 10, or maybe 11 if you win on Sunday, and you're in the playoffs. Miami is already playing with house money. So it doesn't matter what they do from here on out. If they lose to the Bills, let's be honest, they're supposed to lose to the Bills. They're not better than the Bills right now. But if they beat the Bills, then it's just another incredible step in an amazing season. The only thing the Dolphins are doing is trying to make the season more incredible than it's been. There is no, this was a bad move, this is a bad day, bad season, bad. There's nothing bad about the Dolphin season this year. They've already achieved what they needed to achieve. They've overachieved at this point. Okay? So to me, I don't worry if they make the playoffs. It's a bonus. If they don't, I'm super happy. I'm ecstatic with the direction of the Miami Dolphins. I love what they're doing. And I can't wait for the draft and next season because I know they're going to take another step. And that's going to be exciting. So, to me, I just love everything about what the Dolphins are doing right now. Let's see. Matt J. Walker says, they turn off the because of a blowout and then decided to watch the Heat out of a frying pan into the fryer. Amen. Yeah, when my buddy told me that, I was like, okay, why didn't you go back to the U? Like, come on, dude, why are you watching?
What, after the first 3 minutes when it was 12-0?
I mean, that game, they scored 46 points in the first quarter on them. And by the way, that was all Blake Baker's fault for Milwaukee scoring 46 points.
The 10 turnovers in the first period?
All of it on Blake Baker. Blake Baker gets the blame for last night's Heat loss.
Every guy on the Bucks team making a 3?
That's it, except for Giannis, of course.
Well, Giannis had his lowest score.
9 points.
And, what, 3 years?
That's the only defense that worked for Blake Baker, stopping Giannis. That's it. Lazy Lightsaber says, haven't watched the Canes since Mark Richt had those 10 wins and Diaz was a coordinator. Well, you probably did yourself a favor because if you haven't watched the Canes since then, you probably will live another extra year or two. Because the rest of us that are watching the Canes, they're just killing us slowly.
No Rolaids or Tums needed by him.
No. Every game you watch of the Canes takes away like a week of your life. Just so you'll know.
Man, that's a good point to jump off at. I'll say that. We were 10-0, right? We said after the 0-3, I'm done.
Yeah.
Man, you saved yourself a lot of grief.
Yep. If we want Devonta Smith, we better pick him at 3 unless we trade back 2 spots to take him there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of ways you can go. Alexa V is in the house. The president is in the house. Let's see. What else do we have here? Boy, this chat board is active, man. You guys got a lot
I
of
mean,
stuff.
they got a lot to get off their chest, man, considering the way the two teams performed last night.
Yeah. Yep. If Matt Jones is there or Kyle Trask with our first pick in the second round, I would take one of those guys. I don't think you take another quarterback at this point, my brother, unless you're doing it to trade for other picks. But I guess you don't believe in Tua. I believe in Tua, so I'm not worried about Tua, man. Lisa Rose says, Finn's got to handle their business Sunday in Buffalo. So sick of these Bills Mafia people. Ugh. You got to understand this. Lisa Rose is watching us from Rochester. Okay? She's in the middle of that Bills mess. So that's why that's why she tells you I'm so sick of the Bills Mafia, because that poor woman is a Dolphins fan living in Bills country. Okay? Yeah, exactly.
It's in her face on a daily.
Yeah, it's brutal.
You know,
brutal.
You have our condolences.
Yes. Yes. We love you, Lisa. Thank you. Cody Douglas is in the house. He says, yo. John says, Dolphins suck for years. They get a good coach and they win. When the Canes get a good coach, they will be back. Boom. 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 That's it. That's all it is. Gotta have some, and again, I think I said this on Onside today. I'm with Manny Navarro on this one. Manny has been telling me on our show for a couple years now that if you hire a Canes coach, you should hire somebody that's already experienced and has built and won at other big programs like Power 5 schools. Don't get the guy from Temple. Don't get the guy from Northeast Louisiana State University. You know, get a guy that actually built up a Power 5 school and steal him and his staff from somebody that's already established. You're not stealing it from Alabama or Clemson. Come on, we know that. But there are other schools and other coaches that you could steal them away.
Saban originated in LSU and won them a championship.
Michigan State.
Right?
Yeah, but he was at Michigan State before LSU.
But you know what I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying he was at Michigan State. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody goes and turns Michigan State around.
Right.
Go get that guy. You understand? That's what I want. Go get a guy that actually has built a real program. I'm with Manny Navarro on that. Because we kept taking the guy that is the young and up-and-coming assistant. Randy Shannon, Al Golden was running a small program. Coker was an assistant coach. What's it called? Now Manny Diaz. The only guy we hired was Mark Richt, and unfortunately he was out of gas already.
So a perfect example of the guy you're talking about is the coach like at Northwestern,
right?
That has had him competitive for several years.
Well, Pat Fitzgerald right now is being looked at for the Jets are looking at Pat Fitzgerald.
How about the Indiana coach? Look at what Indiana did.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Right?
I had him on my show on Sirius about a year and a half ago. No, a year ago. Last year when he made it to a bowl game. I had him on, and that's another guy that you want to get. If you can build up Indiana in the Big Ten, if you can build up Northwestern, a place you actually have to hit the books. Okay, Northwestern, not only do you have to play football, you actually have to be academically sound.
Yeah,
okay?
those brainy people like MIT and
at
Stanford.
Alabama, you can take underwater basket weaving and you'll be fine, but you're not doing that at Northwestern. So Pat Fitzgerald not only is winning, but he's also winning with kids that have to actually be, academically set. So
the lowest math class for them is calculus.
That's what
it starts there.
Yep. Frank Reynos says, Big O, agree on Manny. Also, you have a killer T-shirt on. Where did you find them? Go to Amazon.com, where I buy like 99% of my things, and hit 80s Tees, and it'll come out. 80s T-shirt, and a bunch of shirts will come out, and then this one you'll see it there. Okay?
The shirt next to that one, remember Kokad's Life?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually bought a couple shirts. I bought an Atari one with the classic Atari logo. I got a shirt from Ferris Bueller. It's the Sausage King of Chicago.
Oh God.
What's that? It's that. That's what it is. It's whatever the name
You're
is.
so and so, the Sausage King of New York.
Right.
Really?
So that's what the shirt is. The shirt is about the sausage. The name.
I
and
love when he
everything.
turns it. This schmuck is not going to keep me from doing nothing.
Right.
Not this guy.
Right. I bought that. I got a couple of '80s T-shirts just for the hell of it, and so this is one of them. That it's the world is mine, and so it's
Babe Fergoda.
Oh no, you got it. You're right there.
Babe.
It's Abe. It's Abe. It is Abe. It's somebody's gonna get it. Somebody's gonna send it in on the text line there. But
Bro, I'm willing to bet money if you Google Sausage King of Chicago.
it'll come up.
Pop up.
It'll be the first one. If you put Sausage King of Chicago, I guarantee you it's gonna come up because who the hell's gonna put that unless it's the Ferris Bueller movie? You know? So Abe Froman. Boom. How about that? Memory. Abe Froman. That's it. Okay.
Dashingly handsome, wearing a jacket, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Oh, man, that's awesome. With that, T answers my question. You are Michael Corleone, LOL. Northwestern, get the tutors for the football players. Playbook's more important. They make a lot of cash of football. Rosendo says, how many seasons have Manny coached at you? 2. And also, besides bowl games, he has regressed each regular season. I mean, I don't see any progress in either year. I still see a team that's unprepared, a team that isn't, anything special.
So everything that he did right in the offseason leading into the season gets wiped?
Yes. For me,
Because you're
it does.
back at ground. You're back at.
Hey, bro, what are
one.
you? They're an 8-win team, right? 9-win team. What are they?
Yes, 8 and
8 and
3,
3,
buddy.
Right. Exactly.
But of course, the end of the
look at the
season
8
going in the wrong direction.
And look at the 8 wins.
Yeah.
What do you have in there?
Hey, you beat Duke, man, after having 3 weeks off.
Yeah. Ooh. Wow. Yes.
It's only win with extra time, by the way.
Yeah. Super V says, Big O, I know that going into Sunday's game, the Bills are the most complete team right now, but I will be proud of the Finns even if they lose. It's been a great season regardless. You should be, man. Every one of us should be extremely happy with the Dolphins because our boys are headed in the right direction. And that's all that matters because you go from 5 wins to 10. Now, I don't think they're going to go to 15 next year, but maybe they'll get to 12 or 13 next year. That would be pretty cool. And that means they'll be fighting for the division. They'll be fighting for a high seed in the playoffs. I really like where this team is going. I just think this is the kind of team that this is what we've been waiting for a long, long time. Do we have a front office? Do we have a head coach? And it seems like we have both now.
How do you feel about Tomlin shutting his guys down?
Oh, against
Week
the Browns?
17, yeah. Where are you at with that game with them against Cleveland?
He doesn't need it. He has to do what's best for his team. I don't blame it, bro.
But the way they've played the last 3 or 4 games, they've played one good half.
I know.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because they were getting their butts kicked by the Colts in the first half.
So maybe rest is what they need.
You think?
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, and Ben is starting to look old. Maybe you give that elbow a week off.
So you're okay?
I'm not okay with it,
right?
But I understand they've got to do what's
thinking.
best for them.
Yeah.
And if it was the Dolphins, I'd be
Because there's a lot of guys that are saying, you've seen it. Hey, they need to practice. They need to, get their, their crap together.
Do we really know more than Mike Tomlin?
You know what? No, not that.
Okay, let's question Manny Diaz. Let's not question Mike Tomlin. You know what I'm saying?
You're 100% right.
Let's question Matt Patricia. Let's not question Mike Tomlin. Okay? I thought myself that Mike Tomlin was losing his mojo with the Pittsburgh Steelers the last couple of years because of all that mess. And last year, how he made them competitive with no quarterback. They were fighting for a playoff spot towards the end of the season. That showed me all I needed to know once he got rid of all the other, all that baggage.
They actually got knocked out of the playoffs the last game of the season.
Once he got rid of AB and Le'Veon, it really kind of, balanced out a little bit because you only kept the one moron that you had to keep because he's a quarterback. You know
and
what
how
I mean?
he kept that all swept up under the rug for that man.
No, props. And when you're wrong, you're wrong. And, I thought he was losing it, and no. And look what he's done this year. And I don't think that Pittsburgh team's that good. I think Tomlin's done a marvelous job of coaching up a team that I don't think is really that good. I think they're kind of overrated.
As good as their passing game is, man, in the NFL, you have to have some semblance of a running game.
Yeah.
If not, they know what you're doing.
They've become more of a finesse team in the passing game than
Can you imagine
than punch you in the mouth running the ball.
Can you imagine Pittsburgh Steelers being a finesse team?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
They had no identity there, man.
Yeah, you're right. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. You can also reach out to me on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break here. We'll reset. We're going to hear from Coach Flo. He addressed the media today. And I want to also play Changeli's comments because there's some newsworthy stuff there that we got to talk about too with Changeli. So we'll get to all of those subjects. Let's take a quick break. Back with more right here on the Big O Show, live from VSS West Pines, which, by the way, they have this new CBD vaporizer. Check it out, storesbickle.com. And this is a beautiful thing because you can put all of your CBD products here or any other type of products that you would like to use here. And it's the largest bag that they provide in order to accumulate all of the smoke, right? And then what it does is, as you guys know, these things, what they do is you're getting the pureness of it, in other words. And the... Let's say the
concentrated hits,
yes,
vaped for you.
Exactly.
Wee.
Yes. So, when you roll a regular CBD or other things, you're also
sounds like you get to take a special trip.
You're also taking in too much that you don't need. So you really want the essential part of it. That's why you want to get something like this here, okay, at VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road. Come on out here, see the guys, get the Volcano Classic. You're going to love it. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you here. I'm telling you, at VSS West Pines.
Just want to note it, you're slipping only 48 minutes without a commercial. Slipping, brother.
Hey, it's Big O for all of your family dental needs. Please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moody'sdental.com. Go to the website. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you. 305-821-0231 or go to moody'sdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to peer, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O for all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs. You got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
We're back. VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road. Come on out and see the boys and girls. By the way, as I usually just say boys, but we have a couple ladies here in the house also taking care of you. So come on out here at VSS West Pines. You can get all of your CBD needs, hookah needs. You know, a lot of people aren't going to hookah bars anymore, which I don't blame you with coronavirus right now. I mean, but a lot of people are finding out that if you do the hookah at home, it's a heck of a lot cheaper than it is when you go to the bar and you're like, whoa, I spent a lot of money. And they've got an enormous selection of hookah pipes. They've got all kinds of hookah products for you, CBD hookah for you. They've got, what were you going to say? Oh, you're going to show them the hookah pipes? Well, I can see it from here. I can see it from here. Oh, that, you know, I see what you're saying. This is live. Oh, there you go. See? You see all the hookah pipes up there? There you go. So come on out here to CBD. I always tell you about VSS West Pines because it's like it's Barefoot Mailman meets Spencer's. Okay? Like all kinds of stuff out here at 12397 Pembroke Road. Largest selection of rolling paper, all kinds of high-end rolling paper. Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. You can trip out with all that stuff. So there you go. So for those of you that like to kick back and relax at home, there you go. You could get that Darth Vader is badass if you want to get that. So there you go. Isn't that like a pipe? Isn't that like a bong or something? I don't know. It's badass. That Darth Vader one is absolutely awesome.
The first thing I do when I walk in here, you know, I look, is he still here?
Yeah.
But I want that guy. You know, that's my guy, man.
Yeah. That's a hell of a piece right there.
When I went
dude.
to Disney World, the only picture I have is with Sorcerer Mickey, okay?
Right.
And, of course, the Darth Vader in the back,
Yeah.
you know, at MGM.
Yeah.
That's in the glass case.
Right.
That's it.
That Vader is awesome. So there you go. So come on out here, 12397 Pembroke Road. Come on by. Go to the website, vsswestpines.com, and follow them on Instagram at VSS West Pines. I like it. All right, what else do we have here on the chat board? I see there's a lot of stuff you guys are talking about. I guess you guys are going back and forth more with everything else.
Are they leaving you out of the conversation, man?
Sometimes they do.
I
Sometimes
know.
they get to they get to know each other, and then they're talking, and then they just
They just wait for the show to start up so they can converse, right?
Yep. Lazy Lightsaber says, "Oh, I know you said we should be happy for the Finns, which I am, but my sanity depends on us going to the playoffs. I am self-admitted a blind-ass fan. We just have to go big. We have to." Yeah, I know, but it's just not realistic.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone.
It's so
We've
rare
got
we
a
get to do
blind-ass
that. I
fan
need to
coming
get it in there, bro. Thank you.
Yes. But it's you gotta be realistic about all of this. And I just don't think they're not supposed to win 10 games. This is just ridiculous what's going on with the Dolphins this year. This is not normal what's going on with the Dolphins. This is absolutely abnormal what's going on with the Dolphins. So that's why I tell you that you got to get a grip on reality, that they've already exceeded expectations. So if they happen to get into the playoffs, that's
Rebuilds do not include playoff aspirations.
No,
they
not-
do not go together.
No, not, and especially not the kind of rebuild that Miami did. There are some rebuilds where you go and remember we talked about it yesterday that somebody brought up, hey, remember Don Shula made him a Super Bowl team in 2 years, and then I read you the 69 roster
You ran off a bunch of all-pros.
and Hall of Famers.
And Hall of Famers.
And so that was the problem, that Shula took over a team that already had like a bunch of studs on it. Super studs. And that's just not the same here. They didn't take over a bunch of super studs. They had a couple of players, and that's it. And they got rid of a whole bunch of others, and they got rid of some of their best young players. Because they were forced to because of an incredible trade offer that you can't turn it down. And then the second one, the guy didn't want to be here. So you had to get rid of those guys, which that set you back even more. You know what I mean? So you have to look at this with reality. Reality is we're not supposed to be here at 10 wins. We're not supposed to have a shot at the playoffs. If they actually make the playoffs, just be super happy that they are in it. Don't expect much. If it happens, then fantastic. I think next year is when you start to put a little bit more expectations in there, because it gives Tua an entire offseason. He'll have a real offseason with his team and his, I would expect, upgraded receivers. You know what I mean? So I think all of those things are really important for Miami in order to grow. But we have to stay grounded about what this is all about. You know what I mean? So, I just don't want you to disappoint yourself when you don't have to. Remember, we talked about this. We've talked about this very subject before, that there are fans that build themselves up too much, and then they're unrealistic, and then when the team doesn't meet their unrealistic expectations, they take it out on the team when it's really the fans' fault for actually putting unrealistic expectations on it. That might be what you're doing right now, because now you're going to take it out on the team when they don't deserve it. You're going to be disappointed when you shouldn't be, and you're going to put yourself through misery that you don't need to. There is zero misery with the Dolphins this year. Zero. Okay? Next year, as we add a little bit more in expectations, then, let's hope they can meet those. But right now, they have exceeded everything, man. Everything. Let's see. The Dolphins need to make sure they draft a right Mensis. Okay. Well, let's hope they draft the right Mensis. Let's see. Ira was great today. That nugget on the Heat starting 5, not having a point guard. Bullseye. Yes. Ira's always good, man. Richard McLean, and thank you for listening, Julius 305, to OnsideRadio.com. Appreciate it. And the Onside Zone, 11 to 2. We are moving 12 to 3 starting next Tuesday. Okay? Next Tuesday, 12 to 3. We're moving because we're moving Ethan's show from 10 to 11 to 10 to noon. We're expanding his show 2 hours, so we're moving ours back 1 hour. So instead of 11 to 2, we'll go 12 to 3. And Dono is 2 to 5. He's going to go 3 to 6. We're eliminating the soccer show Inside Football. So it'll be Dono 3 to 6, and it'll go right into Brett Romberg. Okay? So there you go. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. Richard McLean, how come the national media creates a QB controversy when the Finns are 10-5 and a win away from the playoffs? Richard, because they don't know anything about the Dolphins, so they're just, creating stuff. This is what happens when you have a 24-hour cycle, my friend. This is exactly what happens. Big O, do you feel Kyle Trask returns to UF next season? I wouldn't if I'm him. He's good, man. He needs to move on. He needs to go play in the league. I'm Kyle Trask. It's not a Gator Canes thing. I'm not doing that, okay? I don't play that game. I call it like I see it. I'm Kyle Trask. I'm out of there. I'm out, bro. I don't think he needs to prove anything else. I think he puts himself more at risk by coming back. He's proven enough that you got to feel like he can play at the next level. And I think he can. He's got all the tools, man. Let's see if he can. Anthony Perez says, Big O, happy holidays. I know it's early, but if the number 3 pick, whose direction do you go? Keep up the great work. Please give Richie from Boar's Head a shout-out. Love you, man. Never change. We love Richie from Boar's Head. Although, where the hell is he on the chat board here? Where is he? Where's he tuning in? Why isn't he bringing us some Boar's Head? I mean, Bill's a big fan of Boar's Head. He could use some Boar's Head. Okay? And thank you, Anthony Perez, for a little love on the Super Chat. Third pick, my brother. Right now, I'm leaning to wide receiver. Is probably where I'm leaning to right now. But Anthony, it's way too early to talk about it right now. And Jamar Chase would be the guy that I would lean to slightly over Devonta Smith, only because there's a 25-pound difference. Devonta weighs 100 pounds, and he's 6'1", and Jamar Chase is 6 foot, weighs 200 pounds. So I like the bigger body. I worry about a rail-thin body like that. He's got the frame to put some pounds on it, but that's it. That's all I would do. Right now, that's where I stand. Willie Molina says, F off Buffalo Mafia, Rage Enterprises. Okay. Lazy Lightsaber says, will your YouTube times be pushed back as well with on-site times changing? Yeah. Obviously. So, yeah, I'll be on a little later. Maybe there will be days that maybe Bill and I can do something earlier, but I would think that it's mostly all later is probably what's going to end up happening. Okay? Bro, that 1983 Tony Montana tee, Big O is rocking. Yes. Thank you. Oh, Anthony Perez says, haha, Richie is my brother. Ah. All right, Anthony. Well, get your brother, to come on out and, sponsor the podcast, bro. A little Boar's Head sponsorship. Nothing wrong with that. So let's see if we can get Richie to give us a little support here. Let's see. And Robin Hollywood, of course, ratting out Richie from Boar's Head because he's a Jets fan. There you go. Oh, you guys are a trip. You guys are an absolute trip. All right, let's hear from the coach. Brian Flores addressed the Meteors today. It is a Wednesday, a big day at Dolphins camp as they get ready for the Sunday game against the Bills. Let's hear what the head coach had to say. Go for it.
Good morning, Flo. I want to ask this question because you've been to the playoffs quite often. What does a playoff-ready team look like?
Look, I think if you get into the playoffs, you've got a good team. Your team's talented, they're tough, they're smart. They play well together. It's hard to win in this league, so to get in means that you accomplished something or you made a lot of strides, improvements over the course of the season. So, playoff any team that's in is a good football team.
Adam?
I was curious what you took from what Brian Daboll, I'm sorry, not Brian Daboll, Sean McDermott said yesterday about how he's planning on using his players and the kind of the subterfuge, I guess, trying to keep the information away from you all. How are you preparing for this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I expect everyone to play. Sean's a competitor. Brian Daboll's a competitor. Josh Allen's a competitor. Diggs, Poyer, Hyde. I mean, I expect them all to play. That's how we're preparing. And that's how we're preparing.
Now listen. First of all, address two things. It's kind of a loaded question. Omar gave the coach what's a playoff prepared team. I mean, and then the coach gave him kind of every team that makes the playoffs should be prepared. Well, not really, but I get it. But it to me, it's just difficult to define that because I think there's different layers of playoff teams, right? Some are weak playoff teams. Some are decent playoff teams. Some are really strong. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends because the lower level playoff teams aren't going to be the same as Kansas City, the elite team. So I think there's different layers to that. That's kind of a complicated question to ask. And it's a question that the coach really can't answer the way I told you because then he would start insulting the different teams that are in the playoffs already. You know what I mean? And if he gets in, they're on the lower end of the playoff ringer. They're the lower end playoff team that I'm talking about. They're not in the middle, okay? All right? And they're certainly not where Kansas City is at this point in time. So that I found that interesting. And then I know Beasley asked him about what is he expecting from Brian Daboll. The Bills are playing for the number 2 seed. They are playing for home field advantage all throughout the playoffs except for the AFC Championship game. And if you're stuck playing in the wild card round or in the next round, you want to make sure you play home. And if you're the Bills, you have that very interesting that western New York weather that you got, that wind blowing off the lakes and all that stuff. And so you want to play at home because you have – I've been to Buffalo. I've been to playoff games in Buffalo. Now, I went to playoff games in Buffalo when there was the weather and the crowd. Okay, and dressed in Dolphins gear. All right, in the stands, in Dolphins gear, in Buffalo, baby. All right, that's how we roll.
At least you got treated better than probably you would have.
I got pelted with snow.
Yeah, but imagine if you were with the Jet fans in New York.
Oh yeah,
it would. Buffalo people have a little more class.
No.
Really?
Yeah, Buffalo people were rough, bro. They're rough, bro.
Man.
They're rough.
Okay.
They're rough.
I was trying to think that they were a step up from Jets, but you're putting them on the same plane, huh?
Yeah. Talk to my wife about that experience. Okay? She was my girlfriend in those days, but yeah. It's like 30-something years ago.
What the hell kind of vacation is this?
It's like 30-something years ago, but yeah. It's crazy stuff. But yeah. And so the other thing, they're playing for the number 2 seed. They're going to play everybody, and they should, okay? And like I told you guys earlier, I want them to play everybody. I don't want Josh Allen off, dude. I want them to have their guys because if the Dolphins beat them, it's going to be that much more satisfying and sends a message. That's the most important part. If you beat them without their guys, there's no message. There's no nothing. But if you beat them with their real lineup, then the Bills go, oh, crap. We don't want to see these guys again in the playoffs. They just beat us. So I am all for this. Okay? Go ahead.
Joe?
Hey, Flo, good morning. As it relates to today's practice, can you please tell us if you are hopeful that any of these guys will try to do something today? Shaq Lawson, Solomon Kinley, Preston Williams?
I'll talk to talk to Kyle and the medical staff after this about those guys, but I'll say that they're all doing everything they can to get out there as soon as possible. Everyone's nicked up, got some bumps and bruises this time of year, so they're all working to get out there.
Pause it there. Just so you guys will know, Cole Beasley is week to week with his leg injury, probably out for this week. They'll probably see him for the playoffs. And Landon Roberts for the Dolphins is out for the year with a significant knee injury. Jakeem is out with a high ankle sprain, and it looks like you're going to get back Devontae Parker, Solomon Kinley, and who was the other one that practiced today? Parker, Kinley, and I'm forgetting. There was one more guy. Damn it. I didn't write it down. I'm going off memory now. But it was Kinley, Parker, and...
Was Vanoy involved?
No, he's back. It's Kinley, Parker...
Offensive line?
No, that's Kinley.
Okay.
Solomon Kinley, Parker. And there was somebody else now that I'm forgetting that practice also that is going to come back. It'll come to mind. Go ahead. Keep playing, Flo.
Good morning, Brian. Tua has the lowest interception rate in the NFL. Obviously, that's a good thing. But how heavily does that weigh in your evaluation of the way he's played?
Shaq Lawson. You're right. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean that's a good place to start. At the quarterback position, I think he's done a good job from that standpoint. Obviously, there's a lot of other factors like at every position. That's one of them. Which we evaluate, and I think he's done a good job in a lot of areas. But I think it's like every position. There's 15, 18, 20 different things that you're looking for at every position. But obviously the turnovers are a big one. And he's done a good job from that standpoint.
Cam. Hey, good morning, Flo. We've talked about the quarterback situation a lot on this platform, but I guess what stand out to me is no matter what you've chose this year, you've been sort of convicted in whatever your decision is without really worry about outside or how impact is. What gives you sort of the confidence to make maybe these tough decisions, at least in my mind, without any worry about, consequences, so to speak?
They're 10-5.
For lack of a better word.
Look, I have a lot of peace with the decisions that we make because, it's sincerely, genuinely, and authentically based on, winning football games and the people in this organization, our fans, and, that's. I have a lot of peace with the decision because of that. There's people here who work hard, from, the grounds crew to equipment to the medical staff to people who work in the cafeteria to Hubert, who, is here every day. It's important to them. So it's important to me that we try to do everything we can to win football games. So honestly, whatever consequences you're talking about, when those people are at the forefront of my mind, to care less about the consequences, to be honest with you, Ken.
I think that's a question, and I like Cameron Wolf. He does an excellent job covering the Dolphins for ESPN. That's a question that really, it doesn't matter to Flo. Why would it matter to Flo? You're the head coach. You got to make a decision for what's best for your team. You don't worry about, you don't make decisions worrying about the periphery. You don't make decisions worrying about what the fans are going to react to. You don't care what the media says. If you know in your heart that you're doing what's best for the football team, what's best for player A and player B and player C, then who gives a rat's ass, dude? I mean, last year he's coaching his team up, and half the world is saying they're tanking, and they were all wrong. So what's he supposed to do? Is he supposed to try to dress it up in a way that it doesn't look like tanking? Because it wasn't tanking. He was trying to win with young players. They're just going to lose a lot because they're young. Kind of like you watch the young quarterback that Miami has right now with 10 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Okay, he's not great right now because he's not supposed to be. He's a rookie. There's a learning curve for all these guys. Austin Jackson, Solomon Kinley, Robert Hunt, they've all done a nice job. Are they perfect? No. Do they make mistakes? Yes. They're supposed to. They're rookies. They're young. They're green. So if Flo is to worry about what somebody else is thinking or what Cameron Wolf is going to write or Armando Salguero or Omar Kelly or anything else, then we've got the wrong coach. It's pretty simple. Then B. Flo is not the guy. Because if you're going to sit there worried about what the other people are saying, the people that are not in your locker room, the people that don't coach your team, the people that are not meeting with your players every day, the people that don't get to meet with your trainers to know where the injuries are at, where everybody's at, because we don't have all that information. So how in the hell can we actually really nail down all these opinions to 100% right? Only Flo can do that because he's the only one out there. Well, he's one of the ones in that building that have all the information. The rest of us, writers, fans, everybody, none of us have all the information. We guess. We throw darts on the board. That's what I've been doing for 30 years. Darts on the board. Okay? Except I hit the bathroom door. He hits the door. He hits the board. I don't. I hit the bathroom door.
I hit the bullseyes, bro.
There you go. If there's a bullseye in the bathroom door, then I do it. All right, go ahead. Keep on with Flo.
Whatever those consequences are, I'm not necessarily sure what those are.
Exactly. Right.
Hey, Flo, good morning. You guys have done a good job this season of the defense, keep making sure red zone trips either stay scoreless or field goals instead of touchdowns. You know, how important is that going to be, you know, to continue this week with that offense in Buffalo?
It's always important to try to, those are 4-point plays, you know, holding them to 3 instead of, 6, possibly 7. So those are critical, in this league when every game is, when most games are tight and come down to the last 4 or 5 plays. Those 4 points can be critical. So, anytime you get a stop down there, it's important. Conversely, punching it in the red zone is equally as important. So we want to do a good job offensively and defensively in that situation.
Joe?
2 guys that got hurt during the game. How is a Landon? And then the second part, if Jakeem is unable to participate in punt and kickoff returns, what would be your message to the 3 rookies who could be in the mix, Igbenogany, Perry, Bowden? What would be your message to them as far as how to approach returns if, in fact, they do it, in Buffalo in a big game?
Well, Landon's injury was, significant, as you guys saw with him being in the game. You guys saw that. So, he's not obviously not going to play this week. And then, those 3 rookies that you mentioned, look, we talk about ball security every day here, how important that is. So make smart decisions. With the football when you have it, catching it, putting it away. And again, the entire fate of the team's in your hand when you have it. So you got to protect it. So that's the message to those 3 guys, but really everyone on the offense and offense king game and defensively if we get our hands on it.
Omar?
With Landon down sidelines, you've used a number of guys in various roles based on the opponent. I've even seen Kava and Noy move inside to inside linebacker. Can you talk about the options that you have, and particularly for the Bills? I know you're not going to give away your game plan, but the thought process on a scrambling, athletic quarterback.
I mean, everyone's got to, do their job and do it a little bit better. We want to keep him in the pocket. If he gets out, we got to cover him a little bit longer. Got to try to chase him down. Look, this guy's, one of the top players in the league. I mean, I think he's really made a lot of improvement. I think Sean and Brian Daboll have done a great job with him, and this guy's he's tough to deal with, and a very 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 good player. I mean I know Daboll well, and I can see a lot of. It's almost like Daboll playing football from a mind standpoint. So he's done a good job.
Cam?
Hey, Flo, I probably used poor wording with the consequences. I guess what I was trying to talk about in the last question was when we talk to some of your players, they talk about communication and trust with you. And I'm curious what the value you put on those two things when you're talking to your team about your decisions, and how that keeps you guys, all on the same page.
I mean, I think communication is vital. I think if you're honest and transparent, I don't know what more you can do. I think in any, and hopefully that's just not a football thing, but hopefully that's a life thing for them. You tell people the truth, you're honest, and, the results of it are the results. And sometimes you won't be happy with that, but you won't feel like someone's, being deceitful with you or anything like that. And I think that's important to players. I think they want to just know. I think that's important to anyone, not just football, but, relationships, marriages. I think that's kind of, hopefully they're, take that from a football standpoint and apply it to other areas of their lives as well.
Final question, Safid.
Hey, Flo, you guys have had, your uphill battles all season, shorthanded at times, things like that. Buffalo's playing so well. It looks like you guys, maybe like walking into a buzzsaw. I wanted to ask, what are some things that you like about your team, or let you know that they're kind of ready for this kind of must-win game to get into the playoffs?
Yeah, Buffalo's a good team. They are. They play well offensively, defensively in the kick game. They're well coached. They're tough. They're physical. They got good players. So we got a great challenge ahead of us, and we just got to prepare ourselves the best way we can. Go up to New York and play our best game of the season. We'll try to. That's what it's going to take against a team like this. I think everyone's seen them. They got great players. They're well coached. They're tough. Play good situationally. They play aggressive. They got fakes in the kicking game. They got good returners. Just got to play well. We'll try to play well, which, starts with our preparation this week, today. And hopefully if we can, build on that on a daily basis, we'll give ourselves a chance.
There you go. That's the head coach, Brian Flores, addressing the media today. Let's hear from the offensive coordinator. As Chan Gailey addressed the media yesterday, at the top of the hour, Matt Shodell is going to join us from Canes Sports, so we'll talk a little Canes with him. Let's hear from Chan. Do we have him ready? Let's do it. Go for it.
Good morning, Chan.
Good morning.
I wanted to ask you about the dynamic of the two quarterbacks that obviously played on Saturday. To our eyes, and you can tell us we're wrong, there seemed to be more of a vertical passing game when Ryan was in the game. If that was incorrect, were there throws that Tua was missing? And if that's accurate, what is the thinking behind opening up more with Fitz under center?
Well, the situation of the game has a lot to do with it. You end up getting behind and needing to get down the field and score points quickly. That has a lot to do with it. And then, we've been a team that has tried to be 9, 10, 11, 12 play drives, run the football, play action pass, control the time on the clock. And so that's the situation that we found with Tua in the ball game. And plus you're missing some receivers from time to time, and that has something to do with it. So a lot of that goes into decision making about how the game is being called and what kind of plays we run.
Travis?
Hey, good morning, Coach. How much of a lift was it to get Miles back on offense this week? And what did you see from him, on tape that led to that big night for him?
Well, he had a good week of practice, which, that always means a lot. If a guy has a good week of practice, you have a lot of confidence going into the game. And Savon had done extremely well, obviously, the week before. So he got to start, and then all of a sudden Miles started running the football and getting some creases and making some plays. So he got the hot hand, and that's kind of how we've been doing it this year. Whoever gets the hot hand, we let them go.
Cam? Cam?
All right, muted.
Oh, am I muted now? Okay. Dan, just kind of following up with what B said about the difference and when Fitz comes in. Is there something about maybe Fitz's comfort with offense that he may feel more comfortable throwing those deep passes, or is it just simply the play calling? How do you view, those situations in those fourth quarter, when Fitz comes in?
Well, he does have a lot more experience with, a few of the receivers. You noticed he threw it to Zay a couple of times and to Mike a couple of times. Guys, he has a great comfort level with. He knows how they're going to react in certain situations. So having played with those guys last year and the first part of this year, he's very comfortable. He kind of has an idea of where they're going to be and how they're going to react in those situations. So I think that part of it, allows him to, put the ball in some certain spots, and it worked out for us.
Omar?
Chan, I'm still trying to learn a lot about the RPO and that style of offense. I'm assuming, how important is the run part of it? I know it's the first letter that comes in it. How important is it to that style of game in terms of, I guess, is it much like play action?
Well, it's that's not an easy question to answer, by the way. It's play action pass means that you are faking a run, but the linemen are not actually blocking downfield like they would go after linebackers and go down the field. The RPOs have to be thrown much quicker. Play actions can be, you can fake the run, but your linemen aren't going down the field, so you can throw deeper routes. The RPO has to be thrown quickly because your lineman, if you don't throw it quickly, your lineman, as we've been called a couple of times this year, we had linemen downfield on RPOs because we held it just a little bit too long. So the RPO, the run part of it is huge. You got to sell the run, and you got to be willing to hand it off if they give you the look you want to run the football.
Safid?
Hey, Chan, not sure if we're going to get to talk to you after this point. So I wanted to ask you, how was your experience coming back from retirement been this season? And do you think you'll be back next season with the team?
This has been an unusual year, to say the least. So the experience has been like no other I've ever had, that's for sure. And I think somebody, maybe it was you, asked me last week I'm thinking about how to go up and beat Buffalo. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about anything else right now. How can I help this football team go beat Buffalo?
John?
And by the way, I think he's going to stay. I think if he had real reservations of it, I think you would get a better feeling from it. I think he's looking forward to developing Tua. And it's really interesting when he was talking about the RPOs, how in the RPO, it's a 3-step drop, and you've got to read and release quickly. And that's where Tua has to get comfortable that he makes the right read and the right throw. And he is so conscious of taking care of the football. You could have the extreme. You could have Jameis Winston throw 30 touchdowns, but he's also going to throw 33 interceptions. You could also have a Dwayne Haskins who's going to be, hanging out with strippers. You know what I mean? Tua is a kid that is wired a lot differently than those kind of guys. He is so much more mature. And he has a greater understanding of his responsibilities. Does he have a great understanding of the offense and NFL defenses? Of course not. What rookie QB does, man, it's almost impossible. You know what I mean? So there's a transition period, and we need to be a little bit more patient with Tua. Go ahead.
Gailey, John Morrow, Associated Press, Buffalo. It's good seeing you.
Good to see you.
Obviously, your connections to Buffalo go back, and I'm just sorry for the convoluted question because there's a couple of points I wanted to address, but how much does the sting of 2015 and how that season ended with the Jets and with that loss in Buffalo still resonate with you and Fitz? And if you reflect back to when your teary-eyed departure, you said this will probably be, and I say probably, but I think it will be the first place that's ever fired me that I'll pull for. Just how things come back and whether it's what you said back after you got dismissed or the 2015 season, just any recollections or perspective on that.
Yeah, you make a lot of statements when you're young that you wish you had back, so that one has not held true that I said. I love the people there. They're great people. I really do. But I want to beat their butt this weekend. And the loss we had up there, it still sticks in my craw. And so that was a tough one. That one sticks with me for sure.
Love that.
Omar?
Chan, I just want to clarify. We've asked you the question twice, obviously trying to do our job. But you keep bringing up how different this year has been have because of the pandemic. Is that a factor in your decision in terms of safety and things of that nature about whether you want to continue to coach?
Oh, no, I was just saying, somebody asked me how the experience was this year, and it was just the most unusual experience I've ever been through. No.
I got time for one more. We'll go to Adam.
Chan, there has been some criticism on the outside that you might not call the same plays for Tua as you do for Fitz, that there might not be the same level of trust. I imagine you're going to push back on that narrative. I wanted to give you the chance to respond.
Yeah, you have the game plan set up that you go into it with, and then you're in a different mode when you get to the end there. You're in a totally different mode. So it is different because of the situations.
Just one QB taking more chances than others. That's all it is. All right, go ahead now. Let's call Matt. All right, so there you go. That is Chan Gailey.
You don't want to take a 2-second break, sir?
No. Oh, yeah. You want to do that real quick? You want to do that? All right.
It would help me just a touch.
We're going to take a 1-minute break here. We're going to get in contact with Matt Shodell from Kane Sport, and we'll come right back right here on the Big O Show live from VSS West Pines.
Hey, it's
Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to appear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction. Listen, I've been telling you about Eric for a long time now. Custom home builder for additions, home remodeling. We're not talking about a handyman. Maybe you want to redo that man cave. We're not going to a lot of live sporting events. So you want to improve that experience in your man cave? Call them 305-433-4843. Tell them that Big O sent you and go to the Instagram page. You can see the before and after there. You'll be impressed. EJD_construction. Call them 305-433-4843 or go to the website ejdconstruction.com.
America's premium sports sedan is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. TLX $259 a month, $259 at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show.
Welcome back here to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road. Come on out here and get everything you need for all of your CBD and hookah needs and THC, all kinds of good stuff out here at VSS West Pines. All right, we told you that Matt Shodell from Kane Sport would be kind enough to join us. Go to the website, canesport.com. You can follow Matt on Twitter at Kane Sport. Matt, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, Big O? How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, brother. It's just, I didn't have a lot of hope for that game last night, and when it was 21-0, I said, okay, this is what I kind of expected. But what I didn't expect, and to the kids' credit, those guys fought back, and, man, N'Kosi Perry played the best game we've ever seen him play in a UM uniform.
Yeah, I mean, Rhett Lashley deserves a lot of credit for what he's done with the offense. He's sort of minimized some of the offensive line issues with his scheme, and then De'Ara King having good mobility. And, I think it was really interesting that when N'Kosi came in, you could really see the difference in the offense then, right? Because when it's a different quarterback and a new system, it's not like comparing apples to apples, right? When you saw how N'Kosi Perry operated in that different system, I mean, he looked really good. And I don't think it's because he's that much of a different quarterback than previously, So I really think that speaks volumes to Rhett Lashley, just the fact this guy who, I can't imagine. I mean, look, everyone says, oh, yeah, he prepared like he's starting. I mean, everyone says that, but nobody really does it for the most part. So, I mean, the fact he could just jump in there and play like that and make some of those throws and, just some of the stuff that just came wide open for him on some of the short throws, it was really impressive.
Yeah, no, and listen, if they hang on to those drops, we're talking about a win and monster stats for that kid.
Yeah, well, that's the problem with this team. It's just like it just seems like whatever can go wrong does go wrong. Like it's really a mystery. I mean, how does a team? It's almost like a microcosm of the season. Like, how does a team that looked that bad against Clemson and North Carolina and the first quarter of this game, then all of a sudden look as good the next two quarters as they did against Duke? And then in the final quarter, it was like a little bit of everything. It was like the season all in one game. It was like really weird to me. I still am processing the game itself because I can't remember as weird a game as this was, where a Miami team looked that unprepared and then all of a sudden looked that good. And then all of a sudden, like in the last couple of drives, couldn't do anything when they were moving the ball so well on offense. It was like I wrote that it was like a schizophrenic game. It was really weird to watch from a Miami perspective because there was no consistency, really on either side of the ball. The offense looked great at times and looked terrible at times. the defense looked terrible at the start, then looked really good, and then not so good again in the fourth quarter. Like, it was just weird, man.
Yeah, and well, when you talk about a lack of consistency for the team, let me go with a lack of consistency for fans, for former players, for some media members, because the criticism of this team also drives me crazy. Because,
well, the funniest,
but let me run this by you. Everybody wants Blake Baker fired, okay? And they make it sound like Blake Baker is the only problem on this team. And then I'm just trying to be fair here. I'm not saying he's doing a great job either, but do I blame him that they have no linebackers? Do I blame him that his best defensive end opted out and then his second and third best ones dropped out for the bowl game? Do I blame him that Mike Rump and company can't come up with a decent secondary? On the flip side, do I blame the offensive coordinator, Rhett Lashley, for the 6 drops? Do I blame him for the guard missing, on a penalty that negated a touchdown? Do I blame him for the N'Kosi Perry fumble? My problem is I think we're kind of crazy and inconsistent about all of this. The 2 coaches, the assistant coaches, I can't blame them for everything. But what I can blame is I can blame the head coach because he's the guy that brings on the assistant. He's the guy that's been part of the recruiting of that defense for years now as an assistant and as the head coach. So, and it's a team that's unprepared. They start the game 21-0. I got to point at the guy at the top instead of picking and choosing, oh, no, this is all on Blake Baker. Everything cannot be on Blake Baker. I just find that to be almost a lazy take, my brother. You tell me.
I mean, look, every Miami fan, when something goes wrong, wants to fire all the coaches. I mean, it's never, look, the biggest problem I think Miami's had, honestly, aside from obviously not getting the players at the level they need, is having consistency with the coaching period. Like, you can't, if you look at some of the really good programs, they tend to have a coach that's around for a little while that really can build up his own recruiting classes and sort of make some statements on his own. When you look at the Clemsons, when Florida State was really, really good, even when Ohio State was really good, they had consistency in the coaches and the assistant coaches. And like Miami just hasn't had that. They keep having turnover. And a big part of that is that Miami fans are not patient and they don't want to be patient. And maybe they shouldn't be patient. But the truth is, until you get that consistency with coaching and the players sort of know what to expect year in and year out, and where that freshman is now a senior in the same system and has seen it for 3 or 4 years and doesn't have a new position coach every 2 or 3 years and doesn't have a new coordinator every 2 or 3 years and doesn't have a new head coach every 3 or 4 years, like, you can't expect a team to be great like that. And everybody wants a quick fix. Like, look at Jim Harbaugh, right? He comes in and everyone's like, oh, my Lord, he's an amazing coach in year 1, right? Yeah. Well, it turns out maybe he wasn't so amazing, right? And you got to remember, these first 2 or 3 years that a coach comes in, and maybe not in Manny Diaz's case, but in most cases, they're coaching a different coach's players. So obviously Manny was a defense coordinator, it's a little bit different. But what upsets me the most with this team, and you can put this on the coaching for sure, is the defense somehow got worse, even with those defensive ends that they brought in playing so amazingly well. And it's super concerning to me for next year that, who's coming back on defense. I was talking with my publisher before the game. I'm like, who is the best player on defense in this game? Is it Nestis Silvera? Because, he's an average defensive tackle, but Bubba Bolden hadn't been playing real well. The other safeties were playing terribly. The cornerbacks aren't real good. There's no great linebacker. There's backup defensive ends. So maybe Nestis Silvera is your best defensive tackle. And basically what you saw in the game yesterday is the defense Miami's going to have to start next season. Notwithstanding they bring in some transfers, which I'm sure they will. I mean, they're already reaching out. But that's a big concern. And Manny Diaz has hung his hat on defense. And it flipped a switch this year where the offense all of a sudden is really good and the defense isn't that good. And you can say, oh, well, the offense is running this fast pace and it's affecting the defense. But no, if you have a great defense and good depth, that's what you want, and they just don't have that on defense. And it's a shame because it seems like every year for the last 15 years, they've either been pretty good on defense and not good on offense, or pretty good on offense and not good on defense, and they just can't get it together. Dating back to Al Golden with Mark D'Onofrio, the offense was good, the defense was terrible. And you can go through, Mark Richt, The opposite. Like, it just never comes together. And it just seems like you just took last year's defense and put it with this year's offense. A couple of years ago's defense, put it with this year's offense, they would have been really, really good. And it's just like they can't get it together. Just nothing ever seems to line up in Miami's favor over the last, 2 decades, really. And it's getting tiresome for Miami fans, and I get it. But back to your point, is it the coaching? I mean, I think it's the coaching and the players. Like, everybody takes a role in it. And yeah, you're right. It shouldn't just be fire Blake Baker. That's not going to fix a heck of a lot. Bringing in a great defense coordinator might help. But again, it's probably with a new system, right? And Manny Diaz loves the system that he runs, and that's why he brought in Blake Baker. So I don't think you're going to see Manny Diaz bringing in anybody who's going to run anything different. He thinks his system's going to work. I think it's not going to work if you don't have the right players, so we'll see.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Now, we're talking with Matt Shodell, of course, from Kane Sport. Go to the website, canesport.com. Follow him on Twitter at Kane Sport. And Matt, obviously, we all were sick to our stomach watching D'Eriq King, suffer the knee injury. And I was actually saying yesterday and the day before, I don't believe he made the right decision for himself to come back because he's an athlete more than he is a quarterback, and an athlete needs his knee. Why come back and risk injury? And look now he gets the injury. Now he has to come back. He has no choice. But what does he come back to, Matt? Because if Nkosi stays and doesn't transfer, he's probably your starter. And I know Alex is not going to be ready early on, but by midway through the season, if Nkosi and Van Dyke aren't doing well, by that time you'll get Garcia in there. And then what are you going to do? Are you going to bring in King towards the end when it's really a wasted season for him, or are you going to build for the future with your other guys? I almost feel like this is the worst thing that could have happened to D'Eriq King because the U might be thinking more about the future in the second half of the season than worrying about the past with D'Eriq King.
Well, I mean, first of all, let's not rule D'Eriq King out for 9 months until it happens. But with that said,
it looks like an ACL. If it's an ACL,
yeah, it did. I do agree it looked like that, but there's nothing official yet, so that's all I'm saying. But I think there's a lot of fans who wish Miami had opted out of this bowl game because really, what do they have to gain from it? The coaches say it's a reward for the players, but it wasn't really because it's not a bowl game. It's a normal bowl game. You get 15 practices to prepare your freshmen for 10 of those for the next season and your sophomores for the next season. Great. It's also for those kids to go up 5 days early to the bowl and go to all these events and go on shopping sprees at Best Buy and be around and party and have your teammates with you, for the last time for the seniors. That wasn't the case in this bowl game. You go up the day before, it's basically a road game. There's nothing, they had 5 practices. Like, why? I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand still why they wanted to play in this game necessarily. Like, to me, it wasn't worth the risk. And you saw what happened to poor D'Eriq. Like, I don't know. I have so many issues with. I get that you want to play a bowl game, but to say you're not opting out because you want the whole bowl experience and it's a reward for the players, well, it's not really, because usually you use the bowl game for those extra practices and you have those 5 days of events, and that's not the case for this game. And when this happens to D'Eriq King, it's almost like when you play Deshaun Watson for Houston. In the final games of the season when the season's over, right, and he's your franchise guy, and he didn't suffer a serious injury, but you're like, oh my gosh, like if he had, why is he playing?
Yeah,
it's like almost the same thing here. Like I almost rather, if they're going to play in the game, put Tyler Van Dyke in there. Do something different for next year. Almost, prepare some of the younger guys. And I know that's almost like throwing the game away, and fans aren't going to necessarily agree with that.
Problem is, I hate to interrupt you, but the head coach is also trying to do a PR move by playing that game because he wants to end the season on a positive note.
Yeah, well, that's for sure.
Not leave the UNC game as the final game. So there is some selfish motivation from the coaches to play that game, period.
Yeah, well, that's part of the problem. I mean, the coaches want to win at all costs, and I get it. That's what they're paid for. They're paid to win games, But in retrospect, I think a lot of fans would say, I do wish they had played, let Nkosi Perry and Tyler Van Dyke show what they can do in this game. There's no need to risk D'Eriq King, and basically with a meaningless game. It's not like they're in the playoffs, So it is a shame in that aspect. I mean, it's fun for fans to see a bowl game and see all the players playing a last game and all that, but it's just a shame. You feel bad for Derek. He's such a great guy, and you could see the team's reaction afterwards. And kudos to the team for really sort of getting back after it, even after that injury, and getting back in that game, because they could have easily just said, forget it. And I do love that the coaching staff does seem to have instilled in these guys a will to fight. I mean, you saw these players fighting yesterday. They weren't laying down like this team did last year, okay? So kudos to the coaches at least for that. I mean, you could take issue with all the coaches for maybe not coaching the guys. I mean, when they're 0-3 at the end of last year and 0-2 at the end of this year, you can say, okay, they didn't prepare them. They didn't get better as the season went on. There was numerous players that didn't get better as the year went on and maybe even got worse than last year, some of them. So, I could see that. But you can't say that these coaches did not have this team, like, raring to go and, like, fighting, even when they're down 21-0. So, if anything else, you got to give the coaches credit for that.
All right, so Matt Shodell from Kane Sport joining us. I can't let you go without asking you this. You're so well connected. You probably get to talk to some boosters, some people inside the administration. Where do they? I know Manny can't get fired. I understand that he's not going anywhere this year. They're probably stuck with him at least 2 more years financially when they can make a move, if they want to make a move by then. So I know they're going to keep him and all of that. But what is the thought process inside? What are the boosters talking about? Because there is no way most people can be convinced that Manny's the right guy after these last 2 years. I wanted Manny as much as anybody else, but you got to admit, when you're wrong, you're wrong. And right now, I think I'm dead wrong about this guy. I don't think he's ever going to lift the program, but I know that they can't fire him. So what's the thought process in there? Are people still holding out hope? Do you have people that are kind of like I am, like, okay, this isn't the guy? What are you hearing from inside?
Well, you have to remember, Blake James, the athletic director, this is his guy. Like, he went out on a limb. So you're basically like, there has to be a tipping point for the boosters with the president, because Blake James is not going to do anything to Manny. Manny's his guy. Whatever Manny needs, Blake James is going to do to make sure that Manny can hopefully be successful. So there's nothing going to happen in the next year. And in all honesty, Manny Diaz did a great job of turning around the fan sentiment last offseason. I mean, he really – look, this is the thing he does really, really well, and maybe it's because his dad's a politician.
Hype.
But he follows social media so closely, and he does what the fans want. He makes them move. Ed Reed, bringing in transfers. He does pay attention to fans, whereas Mark Richt just could care less. Al Golden could care less. They do what they think is best, and they don't really do the public relations game. So I think over the next few months, you're going to see Manny make some more moves that are going to make fans, sort of mollified again, and then they go into next year with a lot of high hopes again. Right now, it feels bad. It feels like people should be fired, and it feels like the boosters should all withdraw their money. And that's the tipping point, right? Is when boosters say, forget my donation, forget my living will. That's when the changes happen. That has not happened. So until that happens, there's going to be no changes.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't expect any. I don't think they can afford, especially after a COVID year. Oh my God, there's no way that this program can actually move on from Manny. But I'm interested to see if those opinions are turning from inside already at this point, because I gotta feel right now that this is not the guy. Where are you with Manny right now? I'm not even saying to fire him, but I'm just saying right now I'm not convinced he's the guy. Are you convinced Manny's the guy?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, boosters are not happy, but they're not pulling their money from anything I'm hearing.
Okay.
As for my personal opinion, I like Manny as a person, like super nice guy, very personable. I think he's a great defensive coordinator, but to say he's going to be a good or great head coach, the jury's out. Nobody can say that right now. I certainly can't say that. I mean, his resume so far is not good. He had a losing record last year. He ended this year with 2 losses. He didn't beat any good teams this year. So I think next, year 3 really tells a story, right? I think he brought in a couple of good recruiting classes, which is great. I think he gets it in recruiting and in the transfer portal, which is huge, because until he stacks the roster with quote unquote his guys, it's hard to say, right? So next year, and then especially the year after that, if this team's not winning 10 games, then he's just not going to get it done, because by that point, that's it. That's his team. That's his roster. That's his coaches. They didn't get it done, and you move on. But you have to give them that leeway. I would tell people, as much as they don't want to hear it, I tell them you got to be patient. And like I said at the beginning of our conversation, like the coaches that are really good, they've been there for a long time, like several years. You can't just get rid of guys after 2 or 3 years. You have to give them a chance to bring in their guys and get these guys in their system for several years and develop guys who at least have the chance to develop them. And if they don't do it, then they're not going to be good head coaches, period. So, you shouldn't say yet that, Manny Diaz should be fired. He's not a good coach. You can already see he's not going to be a good coach. I can see the argument for that, but I think you have to give him the time. I think he needs at least the full next season and then probably the full season after that to be able to make a statement. He's a great coach, a good coach, a bad coach, or a terrible coach. Check back in 2 years and I could give you that answer. But right now, it's just not fair to the guy to say after 2 years as a head coach, he's just not going to do it.
Makes all the sense in the world. Makes all the sense in the world. And that's why he does a great job covering the Canes. He is Matt Shodell. Follow him on Twitter at Canes Sport. More importantly, why don't you subscribe? Check it out. They do an excellent job at canesport.com there. Matt, as always, my brother, thank you for the time and the insight. You're always fantastic. Appreciate you.
Always, Big O. Talk to you later.
You got it. There you go, Matt Shodell. Excellent stuff. And he's right. You got to, of course, give him time. And that's why I tell you, I don't think it's not a matter of firing him because I know it's only been 2 years. I'm not convinced he's the guy. I don't see anything here, but I understand we're going to have to see him for another year or two. I just pray that it drastically changes because if it doesn't, it's going to be a long, long, long haul to try to.
If we
get
weren't
the right person.
pigeonholed because of finances, we would get rid of him. Right?
Well, no.
These 2 years, man, have been.
But it's what Shodell says. That would be an indictment on the AD. So that would get Blake James fired. Because then he would have to turn to the president and say, so we wasted all this money on this guy? We had a buyout and everything for him? We had to pay Temple $4 million?
Right, yeah.
And then you're firing him after 2 years? Then what the hell are you doing here for if you can't find the right coach? Get out of here. And so that's where Blake James, that's why Matt says he's going to do whatever to help, Manny succeed because
he's got based on what Manny does, he's going to decide whether he's still got a job.
He didn't hire Larinaga. He didn't hire Katie Meyer. Okay?
Right.
He didn't hire the baseball coach. Well, he kind of did, but he was already in place, and he was going to be the guy, and that was kind of already that plan was in place.
The pitcher, I forget the kid's name.
So it's one of those things where this was his guy.
The lone thing on his resume.
On one of the major programs of the university. Because I don't know, he might have hired the crew coach. Or the soccer coach, or, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Maybe the diving coach.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know about that kind of stuff. But of the big sports, this is the biggest.
Yeah, this is your cash cow that makes everything else go.
Yeah. And by the way, this is for you from Lisa Rose. I refuse to go to games in Buffalo. You get spit on, cursed at, beer thrown on you. They're drunk and stupid by 10 a.m. in the parking lots. Jump off the top of vans onto tables, body slamming one another. Scary.
Wow.
Okay.
So they're worse than Jet fans.
Yeah, in a way.
They're competing with Eagles fans because they talk about Philadelphia being, and they still have that area.
Yeah.
They have a jail on the premises because of all the antics.
No, that was Vet Stadium. Financial Field doesn't have that, but yes.
Yeah. Okay.
They had the holding cell at Vet Stadium, but they didn't do that for the
They
new
didn't
stadium.
carry it over. They didn't have to.
No, they didn't do that for the new.
They
stadium.
raised the prices enough that they keep the riffraff out.
There is nothing worse than Eagles fans. Okay, and
They
I have
threw
to say,
snowballs
I have
at
to say
Santa
Eagles
Claus.
because it's not Phillies and it's not
No,
Sixers.
right,
It's
right.
Eagles fans.
Eagles.
So
yes.
yeah, those people
Sure.
are definitely the worst, obviously. But Bills fans are, man, they can get bad, dude. They're pretty bad.
I have seen the ketchup, mustard, whatever, and the tape, the van, whatever that guy, that whole. And I didn't realize that was kind of the whole environment, the whole place.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a lot of stupidity that goes on there. Rosendo says, "Patience, Big O. Give Manny one more year." Rosendo, we have no choice. We're gonna have to give him. I say 2 more years. I'm again. I live in reality. While I don't buy the guy anymore, I know he's here for 2 more years probably. Not 1, 2. I think though, what Matt said about 4, I think that's what the AD has to do. The AD will probably tell, no, we got to give him time to get all of his classes in and all that before we can assess it. And in 4 years, you get to turn over your entire roster. And it's everybody's in your roster is all the people you recruited, your culture, all that stuff. It should be in place. So we have no choice, Rosendo. We have to give him time because he's not going anywhere anyways. But I have to at least, I'm not a fence straddler. So I'm going to tell you what I think. And after 2 years of watching Manny, I don't think he's ever going to turn into the guy. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm dead wrong, like I was about Josh Allen. I didn't think Josh Allen would turn into this kind of a quarterback. I watched him at the Senior Bowl, dude. That guy was spraying it all over the place. He had no idea where it was going. His first year in the NFL, he had no idea where the ball was going. Super inaccurate. Then he got better in the second year, and then this year he just absolutely exploded and took off. Brian Daboll is going to get a big-time job coming up because what he did with Josh Allen, they're going to say, whoa, that guy's a quarterback guru. If he can do that with that guy, that's never been done. That is a philosophy that I have lived by in the 30 years that I've been doing this business and following it closely and 20-something years of going to combines and all of that. Inaccurate quarterbacks always stayed inaccurate. They were always going to screw you in moments because that's who they are. They're athletes, and they can make some really nice throws throughout the game, throughout the year, but when push comes to shove and everything's on the line, they're going to screw it up because that's who they are. That guy has changed the entire thinking of that. He's the one guy that I'm like, wow, this guy changed the whole thinking of, yeah, you can straighten out somebody. Now, he played at Wyoming. None of us watch Wyoming football except the people in Wyoming. You know what I mean? So, and he was like at 52, 53% in Wyoming, and that's a terrible conference. And he didn't have accuracy there. So, I hope I'm as wrong about Manny as I've been about Josh Allen. That would be absolutely awesome.
Look, in a realistic picture, man, bottom line, the problem with Manny is, like we've talked about, game day. And we have seen
nothing
to indicate that his game day is getting better. Last night, yes, Derek went down, but like you said, this was more about the kids. It isn't like there was this incredible game or something changed. The Canes woke up and started going. It was the kids.
Yep.
That's not on the coach. And unfortunately, yeah, that's only Manny problem is game day. Being a coach on game day, which is the most important aspect of you being coach.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
It's sad, man, because the thing is, we don't have a choice but to continue to eat this crap being served to us for basically what you're telling me is another 2 years.
Oh, I just got a thing from Amazon. I got my Cobra Kai shirt. Got another Cobra Kai shirt. That was the other 80s T-shirt.
Remember, everybody, when I was saying, what was it,
Cobra Kai.
Saturday, that like every day O gets something from Amazon?
Sometimes.
He is their number one customer. Amazon Prime.
Jeff Bezos, you're rich because of me, bitch.
You should buy some stock. I know it's expensive.
It's like $3,000 a stock. Forget about it, bro. It's like,
but don't some companies now have where you can buy like 10% of such and such?
Yeah.
Hey, you invest enough money in it, bro.
Yeah, but at this point, you're not getting any return like you would.
Yeah, but you know what?
When you got in early.
In another year or two, like Disney stock, 2 or 3 years, it splits. Yeah, man. Then now you're double.
Well, Amazon just split. Lisa says, let's not forget their latest stunt of throwing dildos. Yes, now they toss female pleasure items onto the field. Bill, they are way worse than Jets and Eagles fans. LOL.
You know what? She would know firsthand. She's there.
There, man.
Everybody, you're hearing it from Lisa.
She's in the center of that,
giving
man.
us the down low on how horrendous the Bill fans are.
Yep.
They've supplanted the Eagles fans.
Now, Lisa, the real question is, do you go to Rochester Rhinos games? That's the question. Are the Rochester Rhinos in the USL? I wonder. Look it up there, Rochester Rhinos.
Lisa's not far from where my ancestors were, like Perry Castile. That's right around that area.
Rochester?
From upstate New York. Yeah, man.
Rochester Rhinos. I don't even know if they're still around because that's like That's like one of the classic American soccer teams. Minor league, I know, but they've been around forever. Like the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and the Rochester Rhinos are like two of those teams that are kind of, those of us that followed, U.S. soccer for a long time, those are two of the clubs that have been around forever. So that's the question, Lisa. Do you go to Rochester Rhinos games? Are they still around, or did they fold?
It says something about the most recently played in 2017
Okay,
USL.
so they folded. Okay, there you go. That shows you how much I keep up with Rochester Rhino games. So they folded, huh?
They got the Rochester Red Wings baseball team.
Okay. All right. So they're gone. So I'll never go to a Rochester Rhinos game. Maybe I'll go to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. That's the other one I love. I love those names. Rochester Rhinos and Pittsburgh Riverhounds are two of my favorite soccer team names. Dean G says Gus Malzahn is available for a head coach. He took Auburn to the national championship. Dude, he never had a losing record at Auburn. That's the SEC, bro. That's pretty good. He did a good job over there. I don't know, but again, that's a whole different ball game, the SEC. Willie says Rochester Rhinos are an American professional soccer team based in Rochester, New York, founded in 1966. The Rochester Raging Rhinos, the team's most recently played in the 2017 USL. I got you.
Okay, here you go.
So what happened?
Okay, November 30th, 2017, the team announced that they would not play the 2018 because they were looking for a new site.
Oh, okay.
Now, 2018, August 22nd, it was announced that the club will pursue a new stadium location for the 2020 that now has been pushed back to the 21.
In Rochester?
So it appears that they're going to try to go again.
So there you go, Lisa. You still have the Rochester Rhinos to look forward to in 2021. How about that? I like it. Rosendo says, one thing COVID has taught me is to be more humble and patient. I have no patience. None. Zero.
I know you don't.
Zero.
Here, to give you an idea about this guy, you ready?
Terrible.
He can wait Amazon Prime and get the thing delivered to his house the next day. Or will get in the car and drive 2 hours one way, 4 hours round trip, to get it that night, as opposed to waiting for the next day.
Probably.
That's Orlando.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, I do stupid things.
I
like that.
want it now.
Yeah, I'm Veruca from what's it called? Charlie's.
Willy Wonka?
Yeah, I want it now. I want the golden goose now, Daddy. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Violet, your face is turning violet, Violet. All right, there we go. Let's face it, that UM tradition of way back is decapitated time, or is it decapitated? Is that what that is? Time to reestablish new memories and traditions. Well, right now, the new memories are nightmares, bro.
When you go to Louisiana, you lose to Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
Not LSU. Houston, we have a problem.
Yes, we do. By the way, they've got the new Puffco here. For those of you that want to enjoy your CBD products, okay? Little THC. Puffco, there you go. It's got a remote. You can control the lights. You can control the delivery of the smoke. It's Bluetooth and everything. Flavorful, powerful, portable, intelligent. This Puffco Peak Pro, it takes your concentrate experience to the highest level, folks. This device unlocks the true potential of concentrates, providing the most flavorful, powerful, and enjoyable consumption experience ever. So check it out. If you're looking for the Puffco Peak Pro, they've got it here at VSS West Pines.
See, you don't need wings. You just need a Puffco.
That's it.
And you can fly.
That's it. Where are you, NorCal? Puffco. Okay? All right? See, NorCal? Puff. Puffco. All right, NorCal? There you go. 2020 in one word, greed. Yeah, not for us, but for the bigger companies and all that got like super rich and all that. Isn't it amazing how...
Oh, the billionaires that all made 25, 33%.
The rest of us lost money, lost jobs,
Sucking
lost careers, lost businesses.
Sucking wind, big time.
And then there's the billionaires club became trillionaires. The millionaires became billionaires. The billionaires became trillionaires.
It's the same crap.
They want the pandemic to continue the way things have gone.
It's the same crap that happened back in the day when the banks failed. They all made major money, bro.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I wonder how you get after a good blunt session. I would imagine I would be mellow, right? Joe Philbin was my worst nightmare. Joe Philbin was everybody's nightmare. Cam Cameron was worse than Joe Philbin. He was worse. Oh, let's hear your Tony Montana impression. Let's see. First, you got to get the power. Then you get the... All right. There you go. You cannot do to me what Castro has not done already.
First, you get her the money. Then you get her the power. Then you get her the woman.
That's right.
Oh, look at that thing. It's like a lizard, man. Eye cream. Girls like eye cream.
Oh, I should watch Scarface when I get home. Oh, Lordy.
You know, funny you would mention that.
Why?
Fred was calling and saying, hey, Steven's in town, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think I might go see him here next couple days.
Let's see if we can, let's get him on the show.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get him on the show.
Give it a try.
We're off on Friday at Onside. So tomorrow if we can on Onside or here. Want to, but probably better for Onside. That might be a good one for Onside.
Let me see what I can do.
All right. Let's give you a little music news because obviously we always love talking about what happened in this day in music. And there's always Big O, before the year ends, can I tell you what to do? Anytime, my brother. Anytime you guys can tell me what to do. See if I can pull up the damn article that I want to pull up here. I don't know why it's so slow. Why the hell is it so damn slow?
Can I tell you, I've been
Yes?
over here trying to get in, man, and I've been having a hard time.
Did it go down or something? No, because the video's working fine.
No.
The videos work fine.
Hold on. The video's on another one. I put the video by itself.
Oh, I see.
The other one is having major issues. I've been over here for like 20, 30 minutes trying to get in there.
Oh, okay. All right. 'Cause I'm trying to get it going, and we are struggling, as they say, to open up the page. Well, on this date back in 1965, the Kinks, the Who, Manfred Mann, the Hollies, and Jerry and the Peacemakers all appeared on tonight's episode of TV Pop Show, which is pretty amazing to have all of those bands on one night. Let's see what else do we have here on. Let me get to the. Where is this thing? Here we go. On this date back in 1928, listen to this. Today was a hell of a day. Bo Diddley was born on this date. He passed away at the age of 79 in Florida back in 2008 on June 2nd. In 1934, American rock and roll and country musician Del Shannon was born, best known for Runaway. Great song, by the way. He unfortunately committed suicide on February 8th of 1990, killing himself with the .22 caliber rifle at his home in Santa Clara, California. On this date, back in 1945, English singer, songwriter, musician, actor Davy Jones from the Monkees was born on this date. Jones, by the way, died February 29th of 2012 from a severe heart attack. Let's see, what else do we have here? Patti Smith was born on this date back in 1946. The singer from New York, obviously everybody knows her from her 1976 album Horses, which had the number 13 single Because the Night, which was co-written by Bruce Springsteen. On this date back in 1947, Jeff Lynne, singer, songwriter, record producer from ELO, was born on this date. Are you listening to this list of people?
Incredible concert, man.
Oh, yeah,
Jeff
that too.
Lynne, that ELO catch.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Tracy,
and you know what? I got to hang out with your wife, not you. You were with Grebe down on the floor. It was a really great night.
Yep, that's right. Tracy Ullman was born on this day back in 1959, kind of a comedian, and she had that half-ass song that got popular, They Don't Know. Tyrese, U.S. male singer, was born on this date back in 1978. On this date back in 1986, Ellie Goulding was born. The song Lights, for those of you that know that, was a number one song for her back in 2010. So those are some of the folks that were born on this date in music history, which is one hell of a list, I got to say.
You know, you do the -9, you know what I mean? And it was March, and it's wintertime. A lot of people were, obviously, their parents lived in cold, you know, blah, 9 months later, hey, we got a baby.
Right. Yeah, basically. Foo Fighters, if you're a Foo Fighters fan, they have announced that they will release a song from their forthcoming 10th album, Medicine at Midnight. It'll be titled No Son of Mine. The band debuted their first single from the LP, Shame, Shame, on Saturday Night Live back in November. And let me tell you something. That was a cool song. I saw that Saturday Night Live in November when they were on, and I believe it's the same one with Chappelle. Yeah, I think it was Chappelle and Foo Fighters. It's like a hell of an SNL that night. And I heard that song, and it was actually a good song. So I'm looking forward to hear. I mean, I'm a Foo Fighters fan, so you know I have all their albums.
So are the most of the rest of us that have decent working ears.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean, I don't know. You know, some people may not like the Foo Fighters. I don't know.
Really, I'd like to know who that person is. And you tell me other bands.
There's some weird people out there,
hey,
bro.
Man, you know, that's one of those ones. If you don't like them, I don't need to hear anything else about your taste in music.
Yeah. Anyway, so Grohl said that Shame's visuals were influenced by a dark corner of his psyche that he had experienced for over 40 years. Foo Fighters took to Twitter yesterday to share a snippet of the new song for the new year and new music. And today, the rock outfit confirmed that the track is titled No Son of Mine, and it's going to drop on New Year's Eve as a special 2021 gift to fans. So tomorrow, expect a new song from the Foo Fighters to hit the market, the downloads, whatever the hell you want to call it. What else do we have here that is actually? Did I tell you about the Download Festival? I did, right?
Yes, you did.
Kiss, System of a Down, and Biffy Clyro are the three bands that are headlining the 3 days of it.
Kiss has got a concert coming up from Dubai, right? New Year's Eve. Isn't that $35 or something?
Yes.
You know what? Do you hear that? We Were Born to Be Alive.
Yes.
We should be roller skating, right?
Isn't that is it Gonzalez? I want to say is the name of the
I think so.
The singer that sings that. The first night, by the way, that Kiss headlines, A Day to Remember, Black Veil Brides, Megadeth, The Distillers, Miles Kennedy will be there on Saturday night with Biffy Clyro. It'll be Deftones, Gojira, Pretty Reckless, Killswitch Engage, Mastodon, Bush, Daughtry. There you go, little Deftones. They're so good live, man. System of a Down on Sunday night will include Korn, Volbeat, Rise Against, Steel Panther, POD, Descendants, and Miles Kennedy will do an acoustic set. So he's there 2 nights. So he does the electric on Saturday, the acoustic on Sunday. I want to go to this, man.
POD?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, right? No, it's actually a pretty good lineup. I think that's what was different, that I had more of the bands on this one than I did on the other one. Paul McCartney revealed something kind of odd and cool. I don't know if you can do both, but I'll try. The 78-year-old singer, he said that George Harrison, who passed away at 58 in 2001, gave him a giant fern that he has at the entrance of his estate. And so he says, explaining the connection, Sir Paul said, George was very into horticulture, a real good gardener. So he gave me a tree as a present. And it's right by my gate. I get out of my car, close the gate. I look up at the tree and I say, hi, George. There he is, growing strongly. Sir Paul, by the way, has a new album coming out, or out already. It's on the Billboard charts. And so he talked a little bit about it. He goes, it's lovely. He gave it to me. I just planted it. But then as the years go by, every time I look at it, I go, that's the tree George gave me. George has entered that tree for me. I hope he's happy with that. So he talks to the tree like George is there with him.
Just remember, Paul did a lot of drugs, man.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Got caught several times with it.
Yep. No, I'm with you. Did you guys see that Lindsey Vonn and PK, you know, she was going out with PK Subban, right? They broke up.
Really? They were together for a couple years.
Yeah, about a year or two, I think it is, a little over a year, and they were engaged and everything, actually. So they ended their engagement and everything. So no marriage. And I was thinking about this. This is kind of weird, right? Because I would think that most men consider Lindsey Vonn hot, right? You would consider Lindsey Vonn hot. So can you explain to me why the Halle Berrys, the Lindsey Vonns, the Jennifer Anistons, you know, why they can't keep a man?
High maintenance.
Is that what it is? Lindsey Vonn was going out with J.J. Watt, right? She went out with Keenan Smith, an NFL coach, Alexander Ludwig, who was a Canadian actor, Tiger Woods. Okay?
You know what? It may be they got money and power. They're just difficult.
She got married to a skier named Thomas Vonn, and she's Lindsey Vonn. And they got a divorce. Like, she has no luck in relationships. Now, is it that she has no luck? Or is it that she's hard to get along with? Or what's the deal? You know what I mean? Like, J-Lo's had a bunch of guys, right?
She doesn't have to put up with any S. Every female, and like when things start to go, like, hey, I'm out of here. Life's short. See ya.
Right, I'm Lindsey Vonn.
I don't need your ass.
Up.
I got a whole room full of people waiting to date me.
All right, I saw that and it was like, man, that's odd, dude.
No, not really.
No, it's not actually. That at first I said it was odd, and then I started to think about it, and I'm like, wait a minute, this happens all the time now. Was it Elizabeth? What's her name? Liz Taylor. Liz Taylor. Wasn't she married 9 times?
Actually, I don't know if it was 9, but Richard Burton, she was married to like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's give it another try.
Yep. And yes, Frankie Valli is still alive. Yes, he is. I believe he still tours. Not right now, because nobody's touring right now, but I think the dude still tours. Dean G says yes. Love the Foo Fighters.
Frankie Valli was at the Hard Rock, wasn't he? The last.
Oh yeah.
It was right.
Yeah.
Within a year.
Yeah.
Pandemic here.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I actually thought about going and seeing him because I'd never seen him. We had talked about it.
I'm with you.
It's just one. You know how it is. I mean, the list.
Yeah.
When it's one of those all-timers,
right.
It's like,
Frankie
maybe we need to get a check in that box.
Frankie Valli is an all-timer, bro. Big time. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Look, I'll be honest with you, that equivalent, dude, when we went and saw the Beach Boys, granted, it's not all the originals, that, but the fact that the kids are singing, man, that Beach Boys concert was awesome.
Oh, yeah, definitely. One more thing, Dolphins and Bills. They are going to allow 6,700 fans in the stadium for the playoff game. It says the Bills have announced 6,700 fans in attendance when they host a first-round playoff game next weekend. Governor Andrew Cuomo confirmed today that the Bills will be allowed fans who are wearing masks and test negative before the game. He also said there will be contact tracing after the game. How many of these idiots are going to be too drunk to keep their masks on? Because you know that's what's going to happen.
They just haven't thrown a dildo in a while. They want to go to the game and throw the dildos.
I mean, it's important, you know. They should have a dildo throwing contest there at the Bills. You know, it'd be funny if Josh Allen actually like threw a dildo, but like a football. Okay, and he's just flinging it out in the air like that, you know, and then they film it. That would be amazing. Any Bills fan that can throw a dildo farther than Josh Allen wins a pair of season tickets. There you go. Now that, my friends, is a promotion, okay? And you have all these crazy Bills fans, like they have to donate like $20 to take the shot at beating Josh Allen throwing a dildo, okay? I mean, listen, they love diving on tables and food and, you know, all those disgusting things that Bills fans do because they're disgusting. Might as well have some fun with it. That's all. Nothing wrong with that. Armed Ape says Mickey Rooney was married 9 times. Yeah, but they weren't marrying him for looks. I'm sorry.
I have Jim Kelly on the phone. He would like to talk about bashing Bills fans there, buddy.
Well, I would tell Jim Kelly if he can challenge Josh Allen at a dildo throwing contest. That would be good. All right, let's bring Jack Kemp back. Jim Kelly, everybody.
Jeff Kemp.
No, isn't it? What is it? What did I say?
I think it's Jeff Kemp. Yeah,
it's Jeff Kemp.
Yes, I believe so.
You sure?
Yeah, he was a congressman.
Yeah, he was. Okay. What did I call him?
I don't think it was Jeff.
It's Jack. It's Jack Kemp.
It's Jack Kemp?
Yeah, it's Jack Kemp. I knew it didn't sound right, Jeff. I'm pretty sure it's Jack. Okay, don't tell me I don't know Jack about this.
I'm thinking. I'm
Rosendo, if you want happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife. So from my personal point of view, get an ugly girl to marry you. Okay. But let me tell you, Rosendo.
Doesn't that sound like a song?
Hold on a second. Here's where Rosendo's full of crap. Okay, Rosendo, we love you. So you're telling me that Halle Berry gives you a shot. You're going to go, nah, you're too pretty. Huh? If it lasts a week, it'll be the greatest week of your life. If it lasts 6 months, it'll be the most phenomenal 6 months of your life. If it lasts 2 years, you're gonna be bragging that you were married to Halle Berry for 2 years. Okay? And every one of your friends will put you on a pedestal because you are the guy. I mean, think about it. Every time you're hanging around your friends, oh no, dude, I climbed Mount whatever. I scaled the Empire State Building, this and that, and you just say, well, I banged Halle Berry 100 times. It's over. It's over. Every time somebody has a story, I won blackjack. I won at a blackjack table $2 million. You come back and say, I banged Halle Berry. It's over. Every time there's the stories at the bar, you win. So, Rosendo, if Lindsey Vonn allowed you to marry her for a month, it would be an uphill, beautiful thing. Not downhill, what she used to do. It'll be an uphill type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Uphill? Okay. So, Rosendo, trust me. You would not pass up the opportunity to marry a babe, even if she's crazy, even if it's only for a week, even if it's only for 6 months. Okay? Right? See? Everybody's like saying, you damn right. Of course. Of course.
I will say this. I could attest to this. Crazy chicks are great in bed.
That's right. There you go.
They are great.
There you go. Right? You get a crazy chick in bed, and you're just going to have some fun. Now, we're not saying that Halle Berry's crazy. We're just saying, you know. I don't think we're turning that down, bro. I don't think we're, Jennifer Aniston, yes. No, you're too pretty for me. No. I don't think that's going to happen, my brother. I don't think so.
If it gets out, you'll never be able to live down that you turned down, right?
Yeah, Armed Ape has it right. He says quality time over quantity time. I love that. Agree, Big O. I just love that song. There you go. Rosendo then ends it with, I would love to have Jennifer Aniston. Well, of course. Yes, of course. You know, it's like you look at Megan the Stallion, and yeah, it might get crazy, but what are you gonna you're gonna deny the ride? Come on, man. You know, it just doesn't happen that way. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here at VSS.
You just showed up.
Oh, look out! The mountain man on the mountain bike. Is that what it was?
That was Tomas. That was Thomas.
Okay, I didn't know if he came on that bike and then Thomas was. Oh. All right, we're going to wrap it up here.
Yeah, Jason is not going to ride a bike. He'll just jump out of a plane.
Don't forget to come on out here to VSS West Pines. They will take care of you. Mention our name. They will take care of you out here. And, of course, hey, listen, support the sponsors that support us. It's the only way we survive. So appreciate you all out there. If you do need anything for your CBD needs, any rolling papers, you name it, all the kind of stuff that they've got here, all the different water pipes, the hookah pipes, you name it, all the funky different items that are here that are awesome. That's why I tell you, you see a little Spencer's and Barefoot Mailman in here when you walk around. So all kinds of stuff. So please come on out here at 12397 Pembroke Road. Go to the website, vsswestpines.com. Bill, Philippe, always doing great work. We'll see you all tomorrow, actually. We'll be out at Toyota of Hollywood. We'll be out there right around 3 o'clock. We'll be out there getting ready and cranking it out. Y'all be good. Much love.
Hopefully a little payback by the Heat tonight. Bro.
Yes, we need it.
Please.
Need it. Be good. Much love.
We'll see you tomorrow. Everybody be safe.